Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the Livewire Gaming Show. We're at the quarter century already. That means 24 weeks have gone by since we've been doing this. And we haven't given up. That's longer than most Destiny players last in each season.
Ooh.
Anyway, this week...
We're just doing it to level up for trials, that's all.
Just doing it to level up for trials. We've held on to that for a while. This week we're going to talk about the games that we would like to play or wish we had played, but for some reason didn't or won't. Stephen is going to say he wished that he loved The Last of Us. But yeah, that's about it. Anyway, moving on. Before we get into that, we will do our weekly catch-up. We will... Well, there's my weekly catch-up. Just walked into
I was about to say, I think you should go first.
We'll do our weekly catch-up, and I will go first. This week, I have not played fuck all games. That's kind of a lie. Saturday night, very, very late. More like Sunday morning. I got the Master Vault of Glass done.
Nice.
GG's.
I was quite tired all day Sunday, and it wasn't the best day / night to be tired, because on Saturday, me and Louise adopted a dog. Admittedly,
like
admittedly he's very well behaved considering he's a rescue dog, and considering he's still a puppy, like he's only about a year old. So considering he's a pup and he's a rescue dog, he's extremely well behaved.
And the fact it's less than a week as well.
And it's less than a week. Like he settled in real quick. Like the first night there was not a peep out of him. Me and Louise were kind of thinking like, oh, we're up all night tonight. I was up all night for a different reason, playing Destiny. But we were like, oh, we're not getting a wink of sleep for the next month. But no, he's been great. He's got more energy than any dog should have. But he's not He's not destructive. He just wants to play all the time.
Yeah.
Like, and it's working for me. I've dropped like 2.5 kilos in a week, so it's going good. Literally walking 10, 12 plus K every day. So it's been good. Yeah, he's great.
Nice.
So, but that's basically been my week, is kind of trying to train him into the house. Now, in fairness, he came house trained, which is a gift.
I was going to ask,
He's
almost
like
adopting a teenager. It's like, get rid of all that shit.
It's like the family who had him, like, they did all the hard work for a year. Like, literally, they house trained him, they food trained him, they walk trained him, they sit, wait, high five trained him, and then just got rid of him. Which is fucking horrible, but we don't have to do the hard work, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Silver
like he's great. I don't know how you could give him up, but we won't get into that, because that could turn quite toxic. That's a different conversation for a different podcast. Yeah, that's been my week. Big dog. He weighs 27.5 kilos.
Jesus.
Like, that's a big...
And he wouldn't think of looking at him.
He's only a year old. Like, he's a chunk. Yeah.
Did you not call him Tick Boy then?
No, that's the other thing that we did. We called him Loki. His family had named him Buddy, but Buddy is a bit of a crap name, no offense, if you ever watch
Buddy's
this.
like a nickname that you'd like, oh shit, I forget your name, Buddy, come here.
Yeah, that's what
it's a Dublin thing, like, it's so
it's
weird.
A Dublin thing.
It's
Alright,
come here to me, Buddy.
Starry Bud. So like, I still kind of like, oh, how are you, Buddy? But no, we're calling him Loki because it suits him, because he is quite mischievous. And speaking of Loki, you'll be both very happy to hear that we have started watching it.
You actually? We can't. Oh, did you watch the finale?
No, I'm only an episode in, but we will do a Loki discussion podcast in a few weeks for you, Dill.
Yes, please.
Right.
I haven't watched that at all yet.
It's 6 episodes, Stephen. We will get in.
I was waiting till it all came out, and then I was going to watch it in like one big go.
How can you do that? You have Twitter.
I just put it on last night. Louise was like,
Twitter, fuck's sake.
Louise was like, oh, just put whatever you want on there. I was like, okay, Loki's going on. So yeah.
Just for the soundtrack alone in the intro, it's savage.
No, I only watched the first episode, and that was excellent. Like it's really, really good so far. So I am excited to see where it goes. I'm glad to finally be catching up with Marvel stuff. But yes, my week has been, we adopted a dog, and I'm very fucking sleepy because of it. So I'm never having children. Sorry, ma'am.
That's what we have that discussion on the regular. It's like, Yeah, but like imagine being up at like Kathy leaves at like 6 o'clock for work in the morning. I'm like, imagine waking up at 3 and having to do all your like mammy stuff and then go to work and then come home and then do it again. Then she keeps saying it's like, yeah, but then when we're older it'll be harder to do, and it's like, oh yeah, shit, that's a good point. But yeah.
No, it's been grand. Like that's what I've been getting up a little bit earlier in the morning as well, and bringing him for his morning walk. Now I think we're swapping that Louise is going to take him on that morning walk because Louise just walks faster than me anyway. So if she brings him on the morning walk, he'll be more tired, hopefully, in theory. But yeah, he's great. Like he really isn't. I can't wait to bring him out to you, though.
Yeah, we're going swimming in the morning if you want to tag along.
Nah, see, he had a bit of a turbulent week. He was left into the vets on Friday for to be given up to the rescue. Lost his balls Friday afternoon and got a new home on Saturday morning.
Jesus.
Chap
needs a 2-week holiday.
Not in a bad way. He got neutered because he's a rescue dog and the rescues neuter.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, no, rescue. If a dog goes through, if a dog goes through rescue, they most of the time neuter them because they don't know where they come from and because rescues. There's too many dogs in the fucking country already because puppy farming and puppy breeding.
Yeah,
so it's crazy. Like it really is.
Okay,
you should see it. Where we got him from. Like it's literally someone's house that they've turned into a rescue because it's such a problem. Jesus. And he must have like 15 dogs there, like in kennels.
Yeah,
that need to be that need homes. It's crazy. It really is. I'd love to volunteer for somewhere like that.
Yeah,
but I just know I couldn't. It'd break my fucking heart too much. It really would.
Oh yeah, especially getting that kind of built up and then they're gone then one day later. Like
it's crazy. Like thankfully, like I know I'm still fucking talking about the dog because I could literally talk about him all day because he's fantastic. But like, I don't know where I was going with that. Considering like he's like one of the his story. We got a story of why he was given up, and while it's heartbreaking, it wasn't that he went through tons of abuse or his owner fucking did this and that. Like his story is a very tame, mild kind of sad story. Like some of the stuff that people put dogs through is just it's fucking frightening. It really is. I don't know how you can be so heartless. I really don't.
And some people do that to people.
Yeah. There's that too. Anyway, enough about me. I'm gonna eeny meeny miny mo on to Stephen here. What have you been up to? How has your week been? Do you know what? Actually, before I go on to it, I haven't finished Returnal, and it fucking makes me sad.
I've completed everything.
I haven't played it.
Even Dale's played it.
I haven't got a chance to play it this week because I'm fucking busy. But I'm off work tomorrow, so late night tonight. So I'm probably gonna try play a bit of Returnal. Nice. Sorry, go on, Stephen. How's your week been?
Well, the only thing I did this week other than real life stuff was actually complete Returnal. So I completed it on Sunday night, maybe. I think it was. I think I turned it on between cleaning the house and getting ready for viewing. So I was like, I'll just jump on for an hour thinking I'll just get a cycle in or something. And just got a good run and ended up completing it. It's fucking great.
Nice.
How
many hours after the initial hour was that?
No, just one. Like literally.
Oh wow! Okay, nice.
Just went in one cycle and got it done, and Jesus, it was great. So, the ending is like it's not a fantastic ending. There's an ending to it, but it makes you go back and say the game still has more secrets, and to unlock them, you need to play through it again. But they give you a mechanic to jump through the two different sets of biomes, which is handy.
Okay.
So to get the final ending, you have to collect 6 things called Sunface fragments, and they're in each of the biomes. So you have to go through biomes 1 to 6 again. But you don't have to complete the bosses or anything, and you have all of your upgrades, so you can traverse through quicker. You don't have to get all the keys to open the doors again, stuff like that. You just literally go run through the randomly generated maps and go find these things, and they're guaranteed to drop in each cycle. So I found the first 3 fairly quickly, and I'll run and find the next 3 again, and then that'll be the secret ending, and then that'll be technically game done. But then there's the platinum stuff, which I'm debating whether I'll play or not because it's a lot of RNG stuff, upgrading weapon, like finding weapons with all the new perks and leveling those up. And I'm like, oh, do I really want to? Because you play with some of the shitter weapons like the shotgun. I fucking hate that shotgun.
Yeah, they're
just so you unlock that tree of upgrades.
You do. They're part of platinum, aren't they? Not?
I didn't think so.
Oh, maybe it's just the activity cards then.
I don't think you have to do to upgrade all the weapons. I think that it's all the activity cards which are RNG based that you get the right rotation, and then you got to hit weapon proficiency 30, but that's not by upgrading the weapons. That's just you get it.
No, yeah, that's just.
I'm pretty sure. I'm fairly confident that you don't have to do any of the weapon stuff for the platinum. If I'm wrong, I'm going to be very sad about it.
Maybe not. But you have to find the ciphers, which is a pain in the hole as well.
Yeah.
Like, they're
what you're saying is don't platinum.
It's not a bad platinum, though. It actually isn't a bad platinum, in fairness.
No, it's not.
I look into it as
RNG.
well. Yeah, it's just the RNG part of it. But you can, after you finish the game, you can pick which biome you want to play in. You can do biome select, so it's not like you have to play through the whole game over and over and over again to get lucky. You can just play through one biome, reset, play through the biome, reset, play through the biome, reset until you get what you need.
Okay, so it's like level select then.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
That's really good.
So, no, there's no there's no weapon thing, so that's grand. Yeah, so maybe it won't be too bad. Just getting the.
From what I've read, it isn't actually too bad. It's just a bit of RNG based. I was looking at it.
Yes.
I think it's Power Picks do like their platinum guide.
Oh,
and they were like, so usually they say how long to complete the game, say 15 hours. How long to platinum the game, 40 hours or whatever. But Returnal, it's how long to complete the game, 10 to 30 hours. How long to platinum the game, 20 to 80 hours.
Jesus.
Because it's
50 to 100 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's but like it varies on player skill, on RNG. It's funny, like.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
I'm actually surprised it has. Oh no, there has actually. Never mind.
What?
I was gonna say I'm actually surprised there was no debate about accessibility in video games surrounding Returnal, but there absolutely was, and I'm just brain farting, so ignore me.
So
you mean there's no difficulty slider?
Imagine.
I know. You know, that's something that pisses me off though. Like, not to get into it and deep dive into it, but when there's when the argument about accessibility in video games comes up, and people bring difficulty into it, accessibility and difficulty in games aren't linked. There's no correlation between them. A game can be as fucking difficult as it wants to be and still be accessible. On the flip side, a game can be the easiest fucking thing in the world and still be not accessible. Accessibility is not linked to how difficult something is. It's about how accessible it is. Fucking difference. Learn it, world.
Send.
Dev coming in here with this. Send tweet.
It always, it just annoys me so much when you see it. It's like accessibility in games. Let's talk about difficulty in Bloodborne and Dark Souls and this and that. It's like, do you know how disrespectful it is to say that someone can't access a game because it's too hard for them? That's like so disrespectful to say that. It's accessible because you make it accessible, because you have colorblind modes, because you have alternate controller layouts, alternate controllers. That's what makes things accessible, is giving people the tools and the sliders and things that they need to access it. Like Kraut's a perfect example in Vault of Glass. Kraut realized he's colorblind a couple of weeks ago because he couldn't see the oracles in Vault of Glass. So having colorblind modes is what makes it accessible. Not making it easier makes it accessible. Sorry, I'm done. TED Talk over.
And then the only other thing I did this week was I logged into Final Fantasy 14 because they have a 14-day free campaign.
Oh, you mean you were able to buy it?
I already had it bought.
Insane.
And there's the last 3 MSQs to do before Endwalker. I only did 2 of the 3 because the last one, if anyone who plays it knows, comes up with the big warning. This mission has a sequence of battles and cutscenes. So set aside a sufficient amount of time, which can be anywhere from half an hour minimum to about 3 hours. So it's like, I better just wait. I'll
Yeah.
get back to this when I have time. So,
Commitment, yeah.
Yeah, because there's at the end of A Realm Reborn, which is the first one, they have a scene like that, and it's kind of the first time you see it. And that cutscene is about an hour and a half long. I'm like, holy
Jesus.
fuck.
And
Yeah.
there's no skip at all.
I
Well, you
didn't-
don't want to skip it
no.
if it's your first time seeing
I
it.
didn't realize Hideo Kojima made Final Fantasy.
That's the director's cut version of it.
Oh, see, it's
That doesn't
it's
want
a
to be called
secret
a
Hideo
director's
game.
How was your week, Till?
It's just the cut. Yeah, I had a busy weekend. IRL. I had a christening in Kilkenny. That was a big party down there. I got vaccinated on Sunday. So
GG's.
yeah, I'm fucking delighted with it, man.
What one did you get? Out of curiosity, if you want, if you
the
don't want to say, it's
Janssen.
fine.
Yeah, Janssen.
Yeah,
The single dose as well.
I was offered that today, but I think I'm turning that one down to wait for the 2-dose one because there is some links. Not to get all fucking conspiracy theory on people.
No,
But
I
there
heard
is
about it, yeah.
links between the Janssen one and Guillain-Barré syndrome, and my brother had Guillain-Barré syndrome when he was a baby, so there's possibly a link in the family. So it's just for
If
own
that would
health.
heighten it.
It's a slight health risk that if I got the Janssen one, that it's. So yeah, the 25 to 30 is open tomorrow anyway for the HSE.
Yeah.
So I'll just sign up for that. Not to be all weird and anything. But it's just
I've already got one autoimmune disease. What's another one to
What's
throw on top of it?
they might cancel out.
Exactly. Yeah, have a fight. They both die. Just he's one shot and then they trade. You know.
No, there could be just like it could be a genetic thing. Just that.
Yeah.
It's in
exactly.
it's in the genes that GBS is there, and it's just not worth the risk.
So I've had no blood clots, haven't had a stroke, and it was funny because we went to see Black Widow that night, and I was kind of like, "We're in a dark room. You won't be able to see me if I die."
She's like, "That's the plan."
Well, I'll give you a laugh. My brother got his second dose of his vaccine there 2 weeks ago. Sat outside the doctor's for half an hour, and when he didn't feel sick, went to the pub.
Standard.
I did the same on Saturday.
Went to the pub and watched all the football.
Nice.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not the initial like the initial reaction is just the sore arm, but it wasn't until the next evening when it started kicking in. Like I was fluey, I was kind of achy, I had hot and cold flashes. I was saying to Stephen earlier on, I woke up Monday morning. Was it Monday? No, was it Monday? It was Monday morning, I think it is. Yeah, the next day. I had no energy. Like I got a full 7 or 8 hours sleep, but zero energy. Took a pre-workout, trying to go to the gym in the afternoon. Couldn't get myself off the couch. I was like, no, it's not happening. So you just have to kind of go through the motions. You know that, like, I don't get what are they called, seasonal injections anyway, because my immune system is so low, and it's I don't want to put myself through it. But I'm not used. My body's not used to getting that kind of feed of antibodies or whatever they're called. So it reacted very harshly.
For the sake of a day, it gives you a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
Though, so.
But that's why I was like, it's one of those things. I'm happy it's done. So hopefully going back to work soon. I have an appointment for the 28th of this month to get the ball rolling. So hoping that it starts that. In terms of gaming, I was just doing my usual, playing some Apex a lot of evenings, playing Outer Worlds on Switch, and I had to restart Avengers on the PS5 because Square Enix and Sony have some fucking ridiculous thing going on where you have to download the old version of the game onto your PS5 system to then literally open the game to go save transfer file or transfer save file to then delete the game and never play it again. I played it on PS Now on the PS4, so I don't have access to a game, so I contacted support, and all they could say was, sorry for the inconvenience, but you need to own a version of the PS4 game to transfer save files. So it's a load of bullshit. You can't. I completed the main campaign.
Do they sell it as a microtransaction?
Man, I was looking for anything. I was like, you can't even. Do you know? I was like, Extravision would have been fucking perfect now. I would have just rented the game for the day and just fucking put it in, installed it, got my save file.
So because I'm trying to figure out, do I even know anyone who owns it?
I was literally gonna put online for like trades or just for the day, just to
Go through
it.
through your friends list and compare trophies.
See who's
See who's played it.
But it was one of those things where I've completed the base campaign and it doesn't let you do the DLCs without completing the base one. So I have to go back and do it. So I just threw it on easy mode, like the bottom frag easy, just to fucking burn through it. I'll go back for collectibles and all that later, but just to like it took me, I'd say I spent about 25 to 30 hours getting through the main campaign. So if I can cut that in half by throwing it down on easy mode, so it's just annoying.
Play it. Like here, babe, play it again.
Yeah, but performance-wise, it's so good, night and day difference. I have it on performance setting as well, so I haven't noticed any drops in frames or anything yet. But yeah, it feels nice to play. Other than that, I was dying to play.
I had a hay fever attack earlier on, so I'm suffering.
Oh god, you should get like just tea bags under your eyes.
I'll just get sellotape and just do this.
I was so tempted to jump into The Witcher this week after WitcherCon. That really got me hyped to play it with the PS5 upgrade or the next gen upgrade that they announced for the end of the year. But I don't know if I can wait till the end of the year because I just really want to play it now because I want to jump on the hype train while it's still in my system.
Play it on PC and I'll send you the download for the graphics update. You don't have to wait till the end of the year.
I might, I was thinking I might just play the base campaign on console and then do the DLCs with the upgrade. I was like, right, at least that's something.
In fairness, the DLCs for that are supposed to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that was me.
Goes on the list.
Yeah, Blood and Wine is the best one.
Yeah, Blood and Wine.
So
and the Shivering Isles. Oh wait, that's Oblivion.
That was the best expansion.
Yeah. I didn't play any WoW this week. Just done a bit of reading, my usual.
Have you started reading Mistborn yet?
No. I have a backlog of comics to get through.
They keep coming.
And The Witcher. And then the next Witcher.
Oh my god.
They're my unreads.
Kids still, come on.
Shut up. They're my unreads.
Technically true.
And then my graphic novel. I completed Light of the Jedi actually finally last week. That was that? Yeah, it was before last week. Yeah, last week before. Which is amazing. So yeah, comics are cheap, man.
Oh really?
Especially when you get them on free comic book day.
Yeah. They're
really
only like
cheap then.
$2.50.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been my buzz the last week. Nothing too crazy.
Where do you get your comics from?
Forbidden Planet and Subsidy.
That's the biggest problem I ever had was like, oh, this one's out on this day, so I have to go get it. And it's like, oh, I forgot to get it. Oh, it's now out of stock. Oh, I'll wait for the compilation of it.
There's a really good.
The compilation costs 30 quid. God damn it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have to wait for 6 or 7 issues to build up.
I have loads sitting in one of those boxes.
But there's a really good website I use called League of Geeks, I think it is, and you basically it creates a pull list for you, and it emails you. So you put in what you're reading, and it will email you.
That's really good.
A couple of days before saying 2 items from your pull list are out this week. So, like new comic book day is Wednesday. So if I can't get in for Wednesday, they normally put it on hold for you if you just ring them or message them, or you can create an in-store pull list, and they'll always keep you a copy, which is great.
Yeah. Comic book stores are great for that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I missed out on Mighty Valkyries. I missed out on number 4, I think it was. It was just gone instantly. Like I was in that day and everything, but he just ordered me one in. It was in 2 days later.
They're always great like that.
It's really cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's been my buzz. That's where we are today. It was a new comic book day yesterday. So I only got in today.
We're going in tomorrow.
Nice.
Introducing Loki to Dublin City tomorrow.
Oh wow! All the bells and whistles.
Yeah,
literally.
Louis is going in, and don't really want to leave him for too long just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Separation anxiety kick in.
Yeah, a little bit. That's something I wanted to say. Oh, actually, just because you're talking about WitcherCon, I forgot to add it in the news, so I'm going to mention it now that Cyberpunk was the PlayStation 4's best-selling game of June.
I saw that.
With only 9 days. Like, it's kind of hilarious that, like, all the memeing that goes on, and it's still super, super successful.
Yeah.
And it was only on the store for the last 9 days of June, and it was still June's best-selling game. It's just kind of nuts, like, when you think about it.
That's insane, yeah.
And it's probably one of those things that a lot of people were just waiting for it, just so they could get a better experience.
Yeah.
Which is great. Like I'm lazy. I enjoy playing my multiplayer games on PC. So when I come in here, I'm not in that kind of mental mindset where I want to play a sit down game. But yeah,
I just have to laugh. All the drama around it.
It'll go the route of Witcher, man. It'll be a shit first year for it, and then it'll just be huge.
That's what a lot of people forget, how much controversy there was when The Witcher 3 came out.
Mm.
A lot of people, there was a lot of drama when that came out first, and then for most people, it's game of the decade.
But it was really nice with Witcher.
Most people, it's probably not fair. For a lot of people, it's game of the decade.
When they had on WitcherCon, when they had the devs go in pairs, and they were sitting there talking, like they were being shown pictures, and it's like they're just talking about that time, and like their first boot at E3 and stuff like that was literally like something you'd see out of a homemade movie of a certain genre. Yeah, it was really cool. And they were trying to like give away all their shit, and everyone was like, "No, like you don't know who you are." Yeah.
That's a lot of people like forget about, like CDPR, like not even CDPR, just devs in general. Like game developers aren't the people who take home millions upon millions.
No, they're the passionate ones.
They're just people who, like us, play games but also make games, and they're passionate about it, and they get a lot of fucking hate that they really don't deserve.
Yeah.
Because it's always the developers that get the brunt of the shit that their executives cause. It's just these guys just want to make games,
and I'd say they're so contractually obligated to not respond.
Yeah,
and say, like, I'm sure 99% of them want to say this wouldn't react as bad, this wouldn't perform as badly if it had been pushed the way we wanted to push it, or if it was given the extra time frame that we wanted to give it. But AAA games, they have investors' money to.
Yeah. Did you see the one that went around Twitter the other day from the developer from an unnamed company about an unnamed game that they were developing a PlayStation 2 game, and the producers of the game were saying it has to run at 30 FPS. Now, apparently the game was running 20 FPS at best, and they couldn't get it to perform any better. So they put in a line of code that like raised the FPS counter of the game to say 30 FPS. And
no way.
It still only ran at 20 FPS, but the line of code told it, tell the producers when they check it that it runs at 30 FPS. And the producers released the game on time, no problems. They were happy with it. Just because they saw
and that just that goes to show
it's a placebo effect.
They don't notice these things. Like they'll ask for it because like 30 FPS was probably such a buzzword in that generation of this is what you have to attain to achieve. And yeah,
just funny the placebo effect of it, that it's we'll just tell them it's 30 FPS and they'll believe it. Game released on time and was a success. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Anyway, shall we move on to the games that we have not played, or have never played and wish we had played, or whatever. And Stephen just lit up in blue, so he's going first. Don't ask me why. I was just picking somebody and your face lit up blue. Stephen, what is the first one on your list? I don't really know how we're going to do this, by the way. I think we're just going to...
I was literally about to ask, do you want to cycle one each?
Yeah, go one each, I guess, and then just kind of give a reason why and whatever.
Well, this one isn't really one. And actually, I looked at mine. A lot of mine aren't one. They're kind of series.
Like franchises.
Well, yeah.
They're franchises. Yeah, so the first one I'll just start with some of the obvious ones. So for me, the early Final Fantasies 1 to 6 and the Tactics series, I just never like. I got into Final Fantasy at 7,
Years of
and
age.
played 7, yeah, both actually because it came out in 97. So I was 7 years of age. It was the number 7. It all
It's meant to
worked.
be.
So I got in from 7, 8, 9, 10 onwards, and I remember when I picked up 10 in 2002, I bullied my brother into give me his confirmation money to get me the game. It was great. But when you got 10, you got oh no, sorry, I bought 6 because they started releasing the anthologies of Final Fantasy on PS1. But when you got it, you got when you bought 6, you got the demo disc for 10. I remember playing 10 and being like, "Oh, this is deadly," and loving it. And this is around the time of PS2, so you're getting PS1 games playing with your PS2, back when back compatibility was a thing. But I just couldn't get into them. Like I tried to play them. I think I played 6 for 5 minutes, but because they were all the pixels and really old,
It was old at that
compared to,
stage, yeah.
I just couldn't get into it. And it's always been this kind of shameful thing that I just can't break past that nostalgic. Like for other people, that's nostalgia. For me, it's it's unplayable. It's too old. Like I don't mind the text and all that stuff. It's just they look terrible, and some of the newer ports look worse. So the PC ports currently looks like shite. So I just never got into it. And the same with the Tactics series. It's more of a real time strategy type game, and I just can't get into them. And I play Final Fantasy Record Keeper on my phone, which is really good fun. But you've all the characters from all the Final Fantasy, so I kind of read up on them. Like, oh, I think I'd really enjoy this game. It's a shame it's a real time strategy. I just can't get into it. So for those reasons, yeah, like the first 6 Final Fantasies and whatever the 4 of the Tactics series, I just never played, and I've always wanted to, but I just can't get past that. And when I saw that they were doing the pixel remaster, I was like, oh, maybe this will be somewhat of an upgrade. No. I don't think it will be. I think it's basically just the same thing, but now the pixels will be nicer pixels.
Pixelier.
So, yeah, less pixelated, but better pixels.
And do you think it will become a thing where those games, I know remakes are huge, but do you think it's enough for them to actually warrant investing enough into make the way you see the correspondence with Final Fantasy VII now remake and the way it looked like on original, that's a jump.
I don't think 1s to 6 have the same put. 6
no,
definitely
6 definitely, yeah, I was gonna say that.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 would be the only one I could see them doing the remake of.
6 or 8. 6 and 8.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming the further back you go, the bigger the jump is to
it'll be a full it's 7. It'll have to be a full overhaul of everything and something new. So I'd love to see them do something for 6, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
It is annoying
because
I don't think ever. I think
not ever. Okay, not ever. But
I
don't think it's
when
gonna
7
happen.
is finished, I think it's quite likely because 7 is it's gonna be fucking getting remade for the next 10 years.
I was gonna say when it's finished.
I think 7 is so successful already that I think I can see them eventually doing 6 or 8.
Did you not see the news article? The game director has said that they have
X3?
a game. Yeah, they have 10.3 ready to go next. So we're not.
They don't have it ready to go. They have the story
ready to go.
Final Fantasy X-3.
Oh, is that being released?
Don't ask Dylan.
Well? No, they're it's like we have gameplay or we have a story for it, but we don't know if we'll do anything with it. But that's basically testing the water. They're going to do something with that.
No, yeah, they will, 100%. But just in terms of I think when the 7 remake is eventually finished in 2037, I can see them doing 6 or 8 because there is a demand for it. It's the resources they don't have currently because those resources are remaking 7 part 2.
Yeah.
So I can see it happening eventually, and I'd be down. I'd be really down for that whenever they do it.
It's like watching early movies with really bad CGI and effects and stuff like that. It's you can look past some things, but then other things it's kind of it gets cringy. So it's
Yeah.
In terms of like,
There's only a
I
certain
can't
level you
play
can take.
games or watch movies that are past a certain date because it's just, yeah.
You kind of have to have that nostalgia from playing it when you're younger
Yeah.
to get past it.
Yeah.
And I don't have it, and it's a shame because I know 6 is such
Yeah.
a fantastic game.
I'd
just
kind of
never
vibe with that
play
as
it.
well, Stephen. I'd feel quite similar to you in that because I never played them as a kid, I want to, and it's kind of just chipping into my list here as well, that I would love to have played them back then. They were just a bit of ahead of me in terms of age of
Yeah.
what I was into. That if I'd been born 4 or 5 years earlier, I would have been at the prime age to play them. But
Yeah.
no, I would. I don't have that nostalgia for the early FF games. So yeah, it's one of those that they're all on my wish list in Steam. I own quite a few of them, but they're just there for the collection.
Yeah, so that's my first one.
Nice.
Dale.
I came in there, I got it winning by default.
My first one, it's kind of breaking the rules because I do play it.
Fuck's
But
sake. This fella.
you know, last week I threw in a
Oh,
game
wow,
that
blurry.
didn't even come out in 2021 as potential for game of the year. So I'm just living life on the edge. I'm
Dale's gonna say
vaccinated now,
he
you
wished
can all go
he
fuck
wished he
yourself.
played Lawbreakers.
Oof.
What's Lawbreakers?
You don't even
I wish I knew about Lawbreakers. Now, my first one, and it's probably not a surprise, is World of Warcraft. I wish I played it sooner.
Okay.
In terms of the way, like Destiny now, the story correlates with the universe that you're currently playing in. Just characters, lore carries on from the originals, and I've watched so many YouTube videos, and the story is fantastic, especially like certain relationships with different characters and stuff like that. But like, I mean, I've played the shit out of Shadowlands, and that's not even in Azeroth. This is in like a separate kind of verse in its own. So it's like all this stuff happening now is kind of new. So I'm like, I really enjoy that because I don't feel like I'm missing out. Whereas like when I went back and played Legion for the first time, it was just a massive content dump. Not even just in terms of stuff to do, just in terms of story and names and places, and it's just and like obviously it was 20 odd years ago, and it was impossible to play it. But if I was of age, it would have been nice to even just play the big expansions, just play alongside, follow that story, follow the arc, and how like it affects the current state of the game that you're playing in. Because like that's only happening now with live service games where. Like Destiny, the quote, it's in what did they say? It's an ever expanding universe. Whereas like for something like that happening years ago and still carrying that 15 to 20 years later is huge. And you know yourself, like if you miss like a season of Destiny, you're so out of touch with like the story and who's on whose side and what happened, like what big kind of thing happened. Can you imagine jumping into a game that has that over the course of 15 years, not 3 months?
Yeah, because like it is rare that you play with somebody who picked up Destiny just off the cuff over the last year or so, say. And like it's always, I've played since beta, or I've played since Destiny 2 came out. It's never, I just started playing it a few weeks ago, and I'm like, I know DMC is the exception to that rule. But it is rare.
He's an anomaly to that rule.
He's an anomaly. He plays it more than any of us. He's like fucking season past 300 and something. But like,
Jesus.
it is rare that you get, and it's probably even more rare with WoW. I don't know, but that you get people who get in it and go hard dive into that deep end of it and stick with it.
Yeah.
So it is.
And that's another thing is like depending on what expansion you come in on, like in terms of like. When you do the main story, it's like world quests open up and then your kind of faction stuff, and it's kind of like if that's not got good replayability, or if it's too grindy, or if it's not generous to you, that will be enough to kind of turn you off it, you know. But it's all
depends on
what
who
you want to get
start
over
with as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I like say if you jumped in with someone who's been playing it for 15 years and they're saying, oh, and there's this and there's this and there's this, it'd just be an overwhelming amount of information. Whereas if you actually just kind of feel your own way through it, it's probably much more rewarding.
Yeah, and you'd figure out what direction you want to go in as well.
And like when you start World of Warcraft, do you get to follow a main scenario quest from the very beginning all the way to the current expansion, or is it just no, you're in from Shadowlands and that's it?
No, when you start off, it depends on what race you pick and whether you pick Alliance or Horde. So if you pick Alliance, you start off in, or Stormwind is your capital. If you start off as Horde, Orgrimmar is your capital. I play Alliance, and then I was a human and I was a warrior, so I started off in a specific area. So you basically have starter quests in that area. I have a mage as well, and he starts off in Teldrassil Forest. And you basically have a go-to lead that gives you quests and stuff like that. Just the whole leveling process. Go collect these 10 things, kill 15 of these. Literally stuff that you don't even want to read the text. You just want to keep like spacing through it. But yeah, it's all based off who you pick in terms of race, which is really cool because it puts you in this real confined setting, so you're not overwhelmed very quickly. You can go past it, but as far as like your UI and stuff like that, it's very central and localized, which is good just to get the feel of kind of movement and combat and stuff like that. And depending on what you start with, combat is very different for each person, whether it's range or close or heal or whatever, and tank. But yeah, and then you can. That's the one thing I got very confused in, because I was trying to follow a linear story through the campaign, but then you kind of pick it up from your loading screens. It'll flash up from like different expansions where you are, zone wise, and I was trying to follow one quest, but then halfway through the quest, it'll open up another quest, and you're kind of like, all right, I'll go to that. It must be like some kind of tangent of part of this, like a side quest. And you go to that, and then it opens up a whole nother stream of quests, and it's in 2 different expansions. So you're in 2 different universes or times of that game, which I thought was very convoluted, because I'm just trying to get the linear feel for it. Yeah, which is what made me do Shadowlands, because I was like, I'm playing the most recent. It's gonna be updated. Everyone's doing the same, and it's in a separate part. Like it's in Oribos is your kind of your main zone. Then you're going to each like Revendreth and Ardenweald and stuff like that. It's not even on Azeroth, and that was the overwhelming thing. Like Azeroth is fucking huge, and then you have all the other islands. I can't even think of half their names because I haven't even been to half of them. But it's just, yeah, it can be very overwhelming. But like Kev was saying, if you're going in by yourself and you want to kind of ease your way into a nice transition and not be too overwhelmed, it's possible, but it's so easy to just go off on the tangents, because like you'll have a whole load of quests on your screen, and you're trying to stick with one, and then you could open something like you don't even know that you've opened, and it just tangents off completely. But yeah, that's why I thought Shadowlands was a great kind of point to jump in, because I was max level through my leveling up in the zones, and kind of I'd done a bit of the Legion quest line, and played a bit of BFA just after Shadowlands released. So I think I'd done the main chunk of that campaign, and then I was just eager to do Shadowlands because I was like, it is a fresh slate. It can find space, and everyone is new to it as well, so it was much more enjoyable. So if you have a max level character, you can buy the boost up to 60. I'd recommend just jumping in, go to Shadowlands, and just play the story. Like each covenant has their own quest line and stuff like that, so it's very linear in terms of campaign and stuff like that. But
it's one of those things that I do wish I'd have played it back in the day as well.
Yeah,
it's like when I was into Warhammer, when I was whatever 12, 13, 14, I had friends that were playing WoW at the time, but I never dipped into it for whatever reason. I was like, no, I'm not playing that. Whatever. Didn't have the PC at home probably, but it is something that, if I could go back in time, I would wish that I had started it up when it was big, because I think I would have, become addicted, to put it quite simply. Yeah. Like, it's something that now I'm kind of like, no, I don't want to get into it, because I don't want to commit that much time to one thing now. But it is something that back in the day I wish that I'd got into it.
And like, I know we can do that with the release of Classic and stuff like that, but it goes back to the point that you were saying, Stephen. It's old. It looks old. It plays old. It's hard for me to come from retail WoW and jump into that. It's very different. And I tried it a couple of times, and I tried playing the same class, so it wouldn't be as kind of daunting. But yeah, it's tough. But just if you were there years ago and playing alongside each expansion, which is what I'm doing now, and I hope I continue it just for each big expansion. Jump in, play it passively. I always said I never wanted to get into it like to main it as a game, but just to play it at a passive level. Yeah, it's so enjoyable. It really is, and the story is it's massive.
Yeah, there's so much in it. Like there is so much content.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was my first game anyway. Kev,
yeah, no, it would have been on my list as well. Of stuff, not necessarily that I wish I'd play now, because I know I could boot it up and play it tomorrow if I really, really wanted to. Yeah. But it is just something that back in the day I do wish that I'd started. Because it is the kind of it's the whole
staple game.
It's but it's the whole Destiny thing of I've played since Alpha, I've played since Beta, but on a much grander scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do wish that I'd got in back in the day. And the other one, I'll stay with MMOs for now. Because I would like to have an MMO in my life. Because
it's happening.
Destiny's not an MMO. It's kind of is. It's kind of probably as far as I would like to go with it. But I would like to play Final Fantasy 14.
Steven's like,
however,
get it in.
I currently can't play it because it's sold out everywhere.
Why not? It's fucking free.
It's sold out.
You can't. Have you heard about the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy 14, which now has a free trial expanded up to level 60 to let you play the critically acclaimed Heaven's Ward?
But Steven, here's the problem.
Steven's sponsored by
it's sold out everywhere, so that's the reason I can't play it. It's because it's sold. No, I don't know. It's one of those that...
My dad is Square Enix. I'll get you a code.
Yeah.
Now, hang on, just before you move on the actual topic, this whole sold out thing, I've been seeing it online all week.
Yeah.
How? Like, what? Is it like their servers are at capacity? They can't take any more people? Or
I think it's
the codes. There's no download codes.
Pre-generated codes. Yeah, they would have pre-generated a certain amount of codes. And that would have been given to all their distributors and themselves and so on. And they've obviously just run out of them. So they now have to go and produce a new batch of code.
Is this for the demo or is this for the actual base?
The actual Endwalker expansion.
Everything.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's
the
for
edition.
Purchasing the game, yeah.
So you can't go onto their store or whatever launcher
you can't go onto any store.
Buy now. So Endwalker is the next expansion you're talking about, Stephen, yeah?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to go on and play Final Fantasy now before Endwalker, could you do that?
You can get the free trial, which will get you up to level 60 and gives you the first expansion pass. And then if you want to get Endwalker, like they're gonna have it again in the next week or so.
They will. They're restocking.
Yeah.
Like I'm only joking with that.
But this is the thing. Like, so if you're ever to play, I know I'm jumping down on Kev's, but if you're ever to play Final Fantasy 14, like you just get the free trial because you get up to 60, and there's no time limit to that. So you don't have to buy it. You can get up to 60 on all of your all your levels and stuff, and go, right, I'm not touching this, or when Endwalker comes out, now I'll buy it and do the rest. So if anyone is ever thinking of playing it, just get the free trial and play the 60 before you ever purchase a thing, because it'll cost you nothing.
There you go, Kev.
Okay,
basically, Asmongold broke Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Basically.
True.
It's
for him to go from he has 100,000 people watching him concurrently,
and the rest.
Always. The fact that you jump from your main game during a raid, like the raid race is still ongoing for WoW. Like the new raid has only came out, so this is like prime big beefy expansion content. To jump from that over to a new game and still have 100k plus people watching you, that's crazy. Like that just shows the pull that he has. Like it is ridiculous. 100%. Like it's not even like people watching him for the content. Like they can watch anyone do that raid that's going on right now, Sanctum of Domination, and it's not the fact that like, oh, Asmon's playing the raid, I'll watch him. It's like I actually just want to watch Asmon, and they don't care what he plays. I watch him all the time, even if he's playing Final Fantasy. Like I just enjoy watching the guy and listening to the guy. But 100k people constantly watching that on a new game. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's insane. No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, I've been trying to think what the reason I've never played it. I guess just kind of similar to WoW in a way. It's starting up an MMO can feel a bit daunting
Very
because
daunting.
there is so much, so much coming at you, so much to get through, and it's like, how am I supposed to allocate time to play this big massive thing while still allocating time to play my AAA games that come out, my story games that come out, Destiny stuff? How am I supposed to keep leveled up in Destiny to do Destiny content with also having this big massive thing hanging over me? And I know I always say, I'll give it a shot when there's down period in Destiny, but I think Bungie have gotten a lot better in recent seasons. With me anyway, I've been enjoying it, that the seasonal stuff lasts longer into the season. I know it feels a bit drip fed at times, but there's still stuff keeping me going back later into the season. Now over the next few weeks, once Stolza straps up, it'll probably be a little bit quieter, but I'm still probably not going to give Final Fantasy a shot, Story Steven.
I mean, if we
not...
do set it, and if Steven wants to do a new character, I would happily play it, because I think with the thing in MMOs, I don't mean to say this in a bad way. I mean, if you don't play them, or if you haven't played them, you think that it has to be continuous, endless hours. Like, the amount you can get done in WoW in an hour or 2 hours is crazy. It's huge, because there's not a lot of loading. There's fast travel between places with mounts and stuff like that. Everything is kind of on your doorstep. So I'm assuming Final Fantasy is similar in that regard.
Yeah, and like, unlike the way you were saying with your story quests, like, the best way to level up in Final Fantasy is just doing the main story. They just give you all the XP you need. They even give you armor as you go through the levels. Like, here's new armor to get you through the next set of stuff. Mm-hmm. And like, I never played an MMO, and when I tried it first and was a tank and had no idea what that meant, I was like, oh, sword and shield, I'll do it. Like, I got anxiety around it, and I just dropped it. But playing as a DPS really helped, and I've learned how to play the game now. And now I can tank. Well, not well, but I know how to try and tank, and I'll be trying healing. Like, it's not as daunting as people think. And as you said, Bill, like, you can just go in and you can actually take it at your own pace. And particularly, what I like about the free trial is if you're not committed, you don't have that like 11 quid a month coming out of your account going, oh, fuck, I really should play this. Like, I feel guilty that I'm not putting in an hour or more every day. It's like, yeah, if I don't touch it this week, it's fine. I've got the free trial to 60. I can do whatever I want with it. So it's not as big of a time dump as people think. And I'm sure WoW is the same. Like, it's just, I think you just need to give yourself probably 10 to 15 hours to actually get a handle on the MMO style. And after that, then you kind of fly through it. So it's time to get into it, Kev.
Yeah, let's say, like, it's not even I wish I played WoW or I wish I played Final Fantasy, or it's I wish I played an MMO, because there's lots out there. You've got Elder Scrolls Online, which I dipped my toes into, but fell off because it had only just launched and whatever reason, I can't remember the actual reason. But I wish I'd had an MMO in my life at some point. But I think
Final Fantasy is perfect for you, though, in terms of the universe, the stories. So, like, if anything is gonna have a pull, it's that. Yeah,
that's the one that pulls me. I've no interest in. Like, I've no interest in playing WoW now. Like, I wish that I'd played it when I was younger and followed through with it, and that's different. But that ship has sailed. If I was to play an MMO now, it would obviously be Final Fantasy, because it seems like it's the most well polished one.
I think it seems to be getting a lot more traction as the years have gone on. Like, WoW has always been consistently the better game, but I think in the last 2 or 3 expansions now, people are making that comparison between the two, and I think just Final Fantasy 14 has more of a user-centric approach, whereas WoW is a bit more like, this is what we're doing, and fuck if you don't like it.
Yeah, it has an incredible redemption arc, Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, oh, it's unreal. But Sorry,
See,
we kind of
when we talk
shoehorned
about
your
when
own-
you talk
You're
about
all
Final
good.
Fantasy, it actually gets me in the buzz to play Final Fantasy. But I can't retain that when I'm by myself for whatever reason.
Do you know what? Like, I would happily. So the great thing about Final Fantasy, unlike WoW, in terms of characters, is you don't have to do a new character. So if you two jump in, I literally just equip a new job class in my character, so I'll become a healer or a tank, and I'll just play through the game with you. Like, you'll do the MSQ yourselves, and when we have to do dungeons and stuff, we do that together. Or you can queue up with randos, and it's so fucking like they're not difficult that you have to talk to people. Like, you figure
No,
things out
like
fairly quickly.
from doing WoW dungeons, like they
Yeah.
are straightforward. They're just like strikes,
So,
just with mechanics.
It's not. I think like if you were to get into it, like if we set time aside and we just did a couple of hours together to get your toes into it, you could go off on your own, and the next time you play together, you could be level 50 and be like, yeah, I'm doing this stuff now. What do you want to do? But like, cool, I'll jump on my other character because it sinks you down. So I could be sunk down to your level and play with you. So it's never a case of like, oh shit, you've gone too far ahead. I can't do a thing now.
Yeah. So you
It's-
just
you
have
can
to
always
basically
help
change
out
your
someone.
job, and then that
Yeah.
brings you to that level.
Literally just take off my pants, put on a new pair, and I'm fucking level 1 again. It's great.
That's how it works.
Yeah. I just get naked in front of everyone and then I'm level 1.
Class.
People
Yeah.
spend millions of dollars a year on that.
I'm down to try it because I think having someone like you, Stephen, show like the process of it, and having the kind of MMO knowledge from WoW will kind of
You'd be
help it a little
fine,
bit.
Yeah.
So
But anyway, sorry, we piggybacked off Kev's
Yeah.
about why
You're
he
good.
doesn't play it to make him play it now.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here, because I definitely won't play any of the other games I'm going to talk about.
Would you like a second one now? Since we
Yeah,
piggybacked
I've
off
just
that
segued myself. So, any horror games. Any
Fair.
horror game. Okay, so horror movies I couldn't give a shit about. They do nothing for me. Like, they're like those kind of cheesy. It's there to give you a jump scare. That sort of shit does nothing for me. It's like, if I want to see a movie, I want to go see a good story. They always have shit stories, but horror games don't have that. They've got great narratives. They've got a lot of backstory lore. They've got a lot of character development. They've got a lot of stuff going on. But I know I couldn't play them because I wouldn't fucking sleep again. Like the likes of, I'd love to have played any of the Resident Evil games, apart from the shit ones in the middle. But like any of the Resident Evil games, I would have loved to play them, or any of the Silent Hill games. Like listening to Steven talk about Silent Hill, I'm like, oh my god, I want to play it. Same
Makes
with
the
way,
story sound
with
really
Final
fleshed
Fantasy,
out,
where
yeah.
you say for Final Fantasy 7, Dill, that we get you hyped to play it, but then you don't.
Yeah.
Like listening to Steven talk about Silent Hill made me really want to get into the Silent Hill world, but I know I couldn't because my brain just works in a way that I'd be fucking, I'd be seeing things and I'd be hearing things and I'd be thinking that there's someone watching me all the fucking night, and the kitchen light would have to stay on while I play games all the time. Like, basically, I don't play horror games because I'm a little bitch.
That's
But,
fair.
like, but I could watch,
Understand.
like, when you were playing Resident Evil 6, wasn't it? Or 7. You played, Village is 8. So, yeah. When you were playing Resident Evil 7, I was no problem. I can watch you play it and enjoy watching you play it and get the story from you playing it. But I couldn't sit there and play it myself on the big screen or with headphones on. Because I just couldn't. But I could sit there with my phone going, haha, he's scared, no problem. and it's the same with Silent Hill. I'm really interested in what goes on there and the stories and all that. I just could not play it. And it's even the same with this blue box nonsense. Like, I'm really interested to see what, like, how that all plays out in the end and what that game actually is, if it's a game. But I know I won't play it myself because I just don't have. It's not even about having the bot. Some people just aren't able to watch horror stuff because their brains go whatever, and I'd be the same. I just don't have the heart for it.
That's perfectly fair because I'm gonna.
I wish I
segue into
could.
my one.
I wish I wasn't that way. It's just the way I am.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just the way I was brought up, that I wasn't introduced to that sort of stuff when I was younger because my parents weren't into it either. But like any of the gruesome stuff, like the likes of Saw, like the Saw movies. I've
Oh,
no
yeah.
problem. Like that sort of shit, I've no problem with because it's just like it's just gory stuff. I've no problem with that. I kind of find them a little bit
Can't do
funny at
gory.
times. No, I see that stuff doesn't bother me. It's the psychological horror or the jump scare shit, or it's like the children sitting in the corner of the room and then it darts at you. No, you're all right. Get out of here. No, I'm
Yeah.
good.
See, I
thanks.
can take. I love psychological horror. I hate jump scares because they're just cheap tactics.
Yeah,
Like,
they're just
ugh.
yeah.
Anything
I like
paranormal or jumpy or fucking little girls can't.
Yeah, children.
Possession, all that
when
bullshit.
it's
Yeah.
children, you're okay. Keep that fucking kid away.
When Nanny traumatized me when I was a kid with The
Yeah.
Exorcist, that says it all.
But it's the same with with it. When it was coming out, I'm super interested in the movies. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll definitely watch it. And I'm like,
It
do
was
I
actually
watch
cool
it?
though. No,
It
it
actually
was
wasn't
really
that
good.
bad.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like and Kev, I'm like you. I don't like horrors at all. I was more interested in the story. Like it actually is really good. And
Yeah,
I
the
never watched
story's
second one.
fantastic. Yeah.
There's no jump
know
scares
why,
in it. Like
but-
that's why I really liked it because any scare that was coming up was so predictable,
Yeah.
and it was how they actually approach it. You're like, oh, this is cool, but you're like, God, that would be terrifying in real life.
But you know what?
Wasn't it
horror books? I've no problem with horror books.
Yeah.
I could read a horror book.
I've
no
never read a
problem.
horror book. Yeah,
No, no problem.
Darren Shan,
Darren
Well,
Shan,
the Demon Ada series.
young adult horror.
Young, yeah. It was horror when we were kids.
I
Young adults.
read Goosebumps. Remember that?
Goosebumps,
They
yeah.
were.
I actually saw something recently. Where,
Are You Afraid of the Dark? Remember
Are
that?
You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh yeah.
But I do
Nickelodeon.
actually. I remember seeing something recently where someone was actually slating Darren Shan, been like, "How could there's no such thing as horror for children?" And he's kind of like, "Hi, there is
Welcome to my
Yeah.
discography. Or bookography, if there's a word for that.
bookography." Don't know what it is. There is a word for it. It's not coming to me.
Yeah, can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But tilting off your point into my one, like as I said before, I've played Silent Hill games. I played 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and what else? But when I became older, like at around 16, I just developed this fear of horror games for some reason. And around that time, the latest Silent Hill came out, Silent Hill Downpour. And it's the last proper Silent Hill game. And I've never played it. I just don't know what it is. I just haven't gotten the balls to play horror games anymore. And if you've seen me on Twitch with playing Resident Evil 7, which isn't particularly scary, it's just really like
Weird.
tense.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that, which is why I haven't gone back to it, but I will. But like, yeah, like the car games in general for me are a bit of a, but I'll try them. But Silent Hill Downpour is a game I wish I played, but the reason is I'm a little bitch again, and I don't know why.
So that's the thing,
I
though.
really-
Like, as people get older, they do develop this whole, no, I'm not going to do that because it's the stupid idea. It's like if paratroopers in the armies during war, like, they only take them on if you're under a certain age because
Yeah.
they won't think
You can
twice
jump out
about
of an airplane.
they won't think twice about jumping out of an airplane. Whereas if you get a little bit older, we actually do get a bit of sense, believe it or not, that they'll actually second guess, like, this is a stupid idea. I'm not going to jump out of this plane and get shot on the way down. It's probably the same kind of thing, Stephen, and that you just, as you get older, you get a little bit more, no, actually, I'm not going to be stupid this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my second one, Silent Hill Downpour.
I'll add that to mine under my list of Silent Hill and Resident Evil games.
All of them.
All of them.
What about you, Dill? What's your second one?
My second one, sorry, do you know what I'm actually doing? And I have it open on Steam and I'm ready to click download. Is the Final Fantasy 14 online free trial.
Oh shit! Was that actually on your
Deep
list, or are you
dive.
just doing that now? Oh, he's
No, I actually
he's
have it.
awesome.
Like I have Steam open. It is the free trial that came out in 2014. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the critically acclaimed MMO, Final Fantasy 14.
install demo.
And it should cross save to your PS5 as well, so you could play it on PS5 because it has great controller support.
Wait,
so
it actually
use your-
you
Yeah.
play it on.
Yeah. So you need to straight away make sure your controller is plugged in because it has.
Isn't it part of the
cross-bar
PS
support.
Plus collection?
No.
I don't
It's
know.
free. It's a free demo anyway.
No, but isn't one of them part of the PS Plus collection? I thought.
Final Fantasy 15 is.
Yeah, but I thought Summer 14 was.
No, I doubt it. But anyway, sorry, Dill. You got me excited.
Yeah.
Come on. What was your
Sorry.
number 2?
My number 2, and
I stand corrected.
it's Souls games. Because
Souls games. Sorry,
yeah.
yeah.
I feel like I'm missing out, like loop wise, especially with Elden Ring coming out and being a little bitch who likes easy mode and normal mode on games. And no, it's just it's like the fact that it has like a subgenre, like Souls like
Created
games or
its
Souls
own
like,
genre, yeah.
and like influenced a lot of fighting style in games now, like Neo and what's that other one? Nier, is it?
And God of War.
And
to an
yeah,
extent.
and Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm.
Which was the first, well, apart from God of War, which was the first one that I actually really enjoyed. That kind of tougher combat, with the satisfaction of overcoming like bosses and stuff like that. I don't know, and I'm trying to give it a go now. Like I'm gonna hopefully be playing Demon Souls by the end of the month, which will encourage me to go back and play the originals if there is an upgrade with Bloodborne and those rumors. If not, it will probably encourage me to even give it a try. If I can look past the graphics and stuff like that, I will. But yeah, and then Elden Ring at the start of next year. Kind of played a big thing in that because when I saw the initial trailer at E3 or Summer Games Fest, sorry, I was a bit like, yeah, it's okay, but then listening to everyone talking about it and seeing all the articles and kind of looking into it a little bit less objective from the outside and more like as in, holy shit, this is huge for a game, and like look what it's doing to like the industry as a whole. Like everyone is fucking excited about this. So yeah, that kind of struck a nerve, and obviously listening to you guys talk about it, like Stephen, you can sell a horror game to me and both of you can sell fucking Final Fantasy to me, so I mean, listening to you talk about Souls games and how much it's like, how much you enjoy it and how much you took from it, and like just certain boss fights, not even story, just
Yeah.
It's huge, and
it's an experience. Like I think that's the only way to describe Souls games is they're not mainly narrative driven games, but they're experiences, and it's an experience you do not get in any other game.
I think like,
whereas I want to experience that firsthand now.
Yeah. Like it's one thing I'm really glad. Like I dipped my toes into Dark Souls not long after it came out, and because of how it looked, I was kind of like a bit turned off by it. And I'm really glad when Bloodborne came out that I picked it up, because it was AAA Dark Souls. Because Dark Souls didn't have that AAA feel because it was still kind of early in the that series. Whereas when Bloodborne came out, it was fantastic looking as well as playing. It's something that I'm really, really happy that I fell in love with Bloodborne, because it made me love the rest of the genre. And well, Sekiro is one of my favorite games of all time. So Sekiro is fantastic. It really is.
Oh yeah, you're in for a treat, deal when you finally get into it now, and you've got all these magnificent games to run through.
It's just a waiting game. I'm just waiting. Demon Souls. You guys have said it's worth trying for your first one because the whole magic trait, and I am gonna take not the easy way out, but the easier road through that game. Do
you know what? Like that's the way to play is you find a way that suits you, and if that ends up being the easier way. But it gets you into it, and then
that's the thing. It's just to get me in that environment of how to navigate through the boss fights and kind of your roles and your routine and what do they call it in WoW? Your rotation. That's what I was trying to think of, like when to dodge, when to parry, when to
I think Demon Souls is very non-punishing because of where the bonfires are. Like, a lot of the boss fights have bonfires literally right beside them. So if you do get wrecked by a boss, you're where you need to be to go back straight into that boss fight. Whereas in like Bloodborne or Sekiro, you might have a little bit of a run up to them. Most of them have shortcuts that get you back close to it, but you still might have a 4 or 5 minute trek for some of them. Whereas with Demon Souls, if you die to a boss, you start outside the boss room for the most part.
It's just like resetting. Yeah.
It's not bad, like, in fairness to it.
But yeah, that's mine. I think I've explained what I needed to explain about it. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited for you.
I'm excited for you too. I hope it works out.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think I wanted to work so much.
Yeah.
more than like just yeah, I'll give it a go. Like Final Fantasy 7. I still want to play that, and I will pick it up for PS5 eventually. But
yeah,
I think I hit a point in that where it was like I wasn't having fun anymore, so I was like I just stopped it for a while. But I want to enjoy it, you know.
That is a grindy chapter with side quests and shit.
Yeah.
So
that's all it was. It was just like one of these things. It's like I have to be in the mood to play certain types of games, and if I'm jumping into a game and it's telling me to do just bullshit, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this. Like a couple of weeks ago playing Destiny, I had to get 15 or 16 more expunge bosses or champions, 2 champions per expunge. I logged in, I done 1, and I was like, fuck that. And then I was like, I'll do 2 days later. I jumped back in. I was like, the expunge on sticks on the moon is like it's a really easy one to kind of get through. And I done that, and I got it done in 1 session, done it in an hour, and I was like, it wasn't so hard. But it was just the mindset that I was in. It was like I was ready to do it. I wanted to do it. I feel that kind of plays into it quite a bit. But yeah, that was my second one.
We're going in snake order. Off you go, Doctor.
All right. Fucking wanker.
For my health.
So another one that I've always wanted to play, but just I don't know, I just never really got into it. Was the Dishonored series.
Yeah.
I've always liked the look of it, and I've always appreciated what it's trying to do, but I've just never had the urge to want to buy it or play it. And I don't know if it's to do, I think, actually, you know what it is? I think what put me off it originally was the world tendency system thing that they have, that like if you kill more people, more rats, the plague picks up, which makes your game more difficult. But then to play the game properly, you have to go stealth and not kill things or only knock them out or avoid enemy contact. I was like, if you give me a sword and a gun and then you punish me for killing things with the sword and gun, I'm not really going to enjoy that game. Like, it's kind of why I never really got into Splinter Cell either, is because you're kind of forced into...
You're the reason Ubisoft aren't making a new Splinter Cell. Got it.
Yeah, sorry, Paris. It's just me. But yeah, Dishonored, like, it has everything that I want. It looks cool.
It's a Bethesda. I didn't know that.
Bethesda title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It apparently has a good story. It has really cool looking abilities. I've seen speed runs of it. It looks deadly. Yeah, but I just... when I get punished for playing the game that I want, in the way I want to play it, in a way that makes the game more difficult, I'm just not into it.
That's I was just reading it. 2017 was when the last one came out. It's quite a jump, wasn't it? Yeah. That was Dishonored: Death of the Outsider, a standalone expansion.
Oh, yeah. Dishonored 2 falls under the category of I haven't played it because of Destiny. And I wish I played it, but Destiny
was...
I have it. I got the collector's edition for Christmas one year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, someone got me the collector's edition for Christmas because I was like, "Oh, this game looks amazing," and then I'm just Destiny.
So it's an action adventure.
Yeah, it's not really the open world kind of thing. Like, it's not like a Skyrim or a Fallout. It's a bit more linear.
And looking at screen grabs and
Bioshock.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, it looks very like if you didn't play it at that time, it would be hard to kind of go back and play it now. Personally,
the original one, I'd say, anyway, yeah, because it's like cell shaded but more mature, and I just don't know if it's held up. That art style holds up now.
9 out of 10 on Steam.
Yeah, no, it's very highly rated. It's extremely highly rated. It's
supposed to be great.
Yeah. I haven't played it because Destiny.
Is it one of those titles that Bethesda are actively working on still, like Dragon Age is.
Yeah,
gonna be a
I
thing.
imagine there'd be a third one.
Yeah.
Be surprised if there wasn't. What are Arcane doing at the moment? Arcane do have our work. Oh, they're doing Deathloop, aren't they?
Deathloop, yeah.
So I imagine once Deathloop launches, that
Thanks.
they might dip back into Dishonored.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Arcane. Yeah, and
So that's
it's always
my
been one of
third
those
one.
kind of big names that I've always heard as a game, but just never looked into at all.
Yeah, well, it ticks all my boxes, and then just had that mechanic, and I was like, nah.
It just completely deters you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that one feature can just completely overshadow your experience then, isn't it? Because you can't get it out of your head that it's like, I want to do this, but I can't. I have to do it this way.
Yeah, I want to kill this fucker because it'll be easier. But if I do that, I'll have more rats. So
Defeats the purpose. Whereas you play Outer Worlds and it gives you a dialogue box. One of them says, do what he asks and go do his little side mission, or this takes too much time, kill him now. Like, you can just do whatever you want. Or see you later, I'll come back. I'll have a think about it.
I'll have a think about if I want to kill you or not.
I do it sometimes. It's fun.
But yeah, so that's my third one. Now, Kev, come on.
Nice.
For your health, let's go.
Any Xbox exclusive. Halo.
That's so broad.
Yeah, no, the Halo series, the Gears of War series, Perfect Dark. I'm trying to think of other ones, but just any of those big Halo brands.
I've Halo on my list as well,
Yeah,
so I can understand.
Did I say big Halo brands? I meant big Xbox brands from the Xbox and Xbox 360 era that I never played because I was a teenager and it was a choice of PlayStation or Xbox. So I chose PlayStation. So I missed out on a lot of games that a lot of my friends were playing because they all had Xboxes and they were playing Halo and they were playing Gears of War. Although I don't think I'd be into Gears of War because it's cover-based shooting. But back then I was like, oh my god, this game looks insane. I want to play it. But I didn't get to play it because I owned a PlayStation and not an Xbox. I own the Master Chief Collection. I've been planning to play it since it got released. I am kind of lukewarm looking forward to Halo Infinite, but I've never played any of the Halo games. Okay, that's a lie. I've played Halo Combat Evolved, but I've never finished it. I've played about 2 hours worth of it in my entire life, and I wish at some point I had either owned an Xbox to play them, or actually just installed the Master Chief Collection and played it on my PC, which I may actually just run around now because I can just play it controller on the TV. Like, the extent of my Xbox experience when I was younger was we used to go to my mate Mark's house and there'd be 3 or 4 of us playing FIFA on his Xbox. And we
like, how do you pass it? What the fuck? Yeah. Press X. I am pressing X. It's in the wrong place.
I still won. I couldn't press X, but I still won. But like, yeah, we didn't own Xbox. So that's my reason I haven't played any of those. But it's incredible that all those games are now available on a PC or on your phone, or probably soon on your Samsung Smart TV, and also very, very soon on your Switch handheld, or your actual Switch Pro, your Steam handheld device. That you're most likely going to be able to play all these games through very easily on portable devices. So I've not really got any excuse to not play them, same as I've no excuse to not play Final Fantasy 14 apart from no reason really.
No,
like,
it's one of those
like
things,
there's a new Perfect Dark coming out that I'm really interested in playing, and throw another one into that pile. Sorry, Dill. Throw another one into that pile. Fable. I would have loved to have played the Fable games, but
Fable are great.
If you look back on Fable now, I have it in my Steam wish list. It looks terrible because it came out like 16 years ago, and it's like, do I really want to soil what I've heard about this game? Because look, not to say old games aren't good, but unless you have that nostalgic pull to it, like in my head, Digimon World was the best game ever created. But in your guys' head, if you looked at it, you go, "How the fuck did you enjoy this?" Because I know it was terrible, but I've got nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, any Xbox exclusive from the 2000s ish to 2015 probably.
And it is one of those things, especially with Halo. I'd always think about, to be in that time when it was huge. It was the whole red versus blue, that I haven't a clue what even means, but just in terms of like, this was as big as Call of Duty was when we were in school. This was like, this was huge, like massive in terms of multiplayer, whereas you wouldn't get that experience now because it's moved on.
There's just so many options. It's so broad. You've got obviously, you've still got Halo, you've still got Call of Duty, you've got Destiny, you've got Apex, you've got Fortnite, you've got Splitgate is starting to make a bit of a resurgence out of nowhere, and that's only in FPS games. You've got WoW, you've got Final Fantasy Online, you've got so many multiplayer games that people play, and that's, I've literally just named a dozen there, and that's only scraping the surface.
Yeah,
and that's what back then it was. Halo or Call of Duty.
But that's yeah, it was essentially was if you had a PlayStation, you played Call of Duty. If you had an Xbox, you played Halo.
Call of Duty.
Well, Call of Duty and Halo. You had options.
You had both.
Yeah.
Plus the map packs.
But like for years, I didn't even know there was a story to Halo. I just thought it was just the other like Xbox version of Call of Duty
game.
Yeah. But it's huge. Like this is the only thing about big franchises like that, when they are exclusive to one side, and not now because there's a little bit more. What's the keyword, Kev? Accessibility.
Accessibility
to these games. In terms of, it doesn't matter what platform you have. If you have a PC, you can play your Xbox phone.
They just got more accessible.
Yeah, you can have a scroll for make it easy, normal, or hard. Which, yeah, it's not an issue now because of that. But back then it was the whole, you could only have one console.
Yeah.
And you miss out if your friend had a fucking Xbox and you had a PlayStation, it was like, I'll play with you never. Like, it was one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you miss out on that whole kind of franchise, and it's a massive
There's a lot of people have missed out on being on one side or the other. Yeah. It's obviously a bit better nowadays, but it still is. Well, okay, if you don't have a PlayStation, you miss out on a lot. If you own any device with a screen, you can access Xbox games one way or the other.
Yeah.
No, you could so. It's a pity it wasn't like that then, but unfortunately, the technology actually wasn't there.
No. Kids nowadays, they have everything.
Yeah, they almost have too much that, like, how do you decide what to actually go with? Like,
if our Steam libraries and wish lists look as vast as they do now, you can imagine what fucking kids is like. But they've got Fortnite, that's their destiny. Yeah. My next one, sorry, I'm just adding games to my list as I
Dale's like, wish list that and wish list that. Yeah. That sounds interesting. I wish.
No, I was thinking there's a game coming out at the end of July, 22nd, I think, called Tribes of Midgard. I don't want to get it, but it was just it came up in my head. It's Diablo-like in Norse mythology. It looks cool. Looks really cool. PS5, Steam, Xbox 360, wherever you want to play your games. Yeah, sorry, that was just, it came into my head. My next one is, well, I had Halo on my list because the same reason as Kev, never owned an Xbox. But my next big one, and that is a franchise that is called Uncharted.
I had that on my list too.
What? Never played Uncharted. Now, I have Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, sitting right behind me. I think I played it for an hour.
Wow.
Never played.
I didn't know you'd never played Uncharted.
No. And
they did
the Tomb Raider games.
They did do the HD remasters. I don't know how they hold up, but they are there.
The Nathan Drake collection, is that out yet?
Yeah. It was free on PS Plus at some point. You might own it.
I'm very bad at adding to library, but that's one of those franchises that just I took a miss. And like I was saying, I loved Tomb Raider. I don't want to say remakes, but just the latest in the series.
Reboots,
the reboots, yeah. Well, 1 and 2 anyway were good. The third one I heard was the tank, and just I never played it. But yeah, like it's a genre that, like, I like movies based on that, like Indiana Jones and stuff like that, and that kind of heist movies and kind of jungle adventure. But I never played them. Yeah.
Do you know what?
And-
I hadn't played them. Like them, and I think it was the Batman Arkham games. I hadn't played them either. And as when I start working in the gym, I was like, "Oh yeah, I play games." And they're like, oh, "Have you played this game? Have you played that game?" So I was like, "Right, well, I guess I know where my first paycheck is going." I bought Uncharted 1 and Batman Arkham Asylum. Good paycheck.
Yeah. Started off a franchise. 2 franchises. Yeah, like it's... And I'm afraid it's going to go through that whole... Well, there is the remaster, the HD collection, or whatever you were saying. Like, it is the whole... Does it hold up now? But I don't know if there is even talks of a new game being in development.
Before anyone says anything, I haven't actually finished A Thieves End either. So I
Is that
actually
the last one?
Yeah, that was Uncharted 4 Thieves End, I think. Yeah, Thieves End. I haven't actually finished that game, but I don't know the ending somehow. Okay. I'm very good at avoiding spoilers when I want to, apart from Returnal.
Yeah.
But like, there's a movie coming out, so that could like re-spark the franchise. Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg are playing Drake and Sully, respectively. Yeah. So that could re-spark the franchise or reignite the franchise.
I really need to finish that.
But yeah, that's like,
because while it's a Naughty Dog game and follows that same kind of formula as The Last of Us, the difference between Uncharted and The Last of Us Part 2 anyway is that characters in Uncharted are very likable.
Yeah, I can't even... Do you know what it is? I'm trying to think. I played it for a little bit, obviously, because I have it. But I can't differentiate which was Tomb Raider and which was Uncharted.
They are similar. It's
the same kind of aesthetics in my head. But I don't think I've played for more than an hour. I think
I think I got about halfway through it. I think Destiny happened. Potentially.
More than likely. It always happens.
Always Destiny.
Ever since 2014. Well, 16 for me, but 14 for Kev. But yeah. That's mine. And I would, but like we're saying, there's no reason to not play it because I like the category of game, the genre. I like the setting and the aesthetic that it's in. So I don't know. Just,
I mean, it is apparently the next PlayStation exclusive game coming to PC.
That I will play on a PS5.
That you were playing a PS. Well, hopefully, if it's coming to PC, they also release a 60 FPS update for PS5 alongside it. That'd be nice.
Yeah,
be nice.
I play it on PC. Yeah.
PS5. Sorry, I'm just literally googling now.
Steven, do you want to go next, or will I?
No, I'll take the next one.
Okay, that saves me a lot of trouble. Thanks. I would have to think otherwise.
I'll kind of stick with the PlayStation exclusives now that we're kind of on them, and God of War pre PS4, so pre.
Oh, the good ones.
God of War.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Yeah,
I love those games. I fucking love those games.
And I had so many friends who played them, and I love slasher, like the hack and slash games. I love Devil May Cry, and I just never ever tried God of War, even though it looked amazing. And as I got older and looked up, like YouTube was a thing, I could look up like people playing it or seeing the kills of the gods and stuff. It's like, this is deadly. I just never picked it up.
Yeah.
And then I bought day one the 2016 God of War, being like, okay, they're going a different direction. I'll see what it's like. And I fucking hated it. Like, as soon as I played it, I was like, I fucking hate this. I think this is such a waste of money. I was like,
Steven's going to get us banned off YouTube one of these days.
But then, a year later, I went back to it. And I played it again. And I fell in love with it. And it is...
Okay.
Who hurt you that year, Steven?
We're back on YouTube.
Okay, now.
I don't know what I think it was the axe. I think it was like using the axe. I was like, this is such a shitty fucking weapon, and showing it and be like, oh, for fuck's sake. Just, I couldn't get into the combat with it.
Come back.
And then eventually when you unlock the chains, like, oh yeah, this is good. But yeah, I just never played the old God of Wars, and even when they did like the HD remaster, I was like looking it up going, it still looks a bit
Yeah.
old and shitty, and
Those games did not age very well.
no.
I love them though. Like God of War 1, 2, and 3 are fantastic games. Well, they were when they were released. Obviously, you have to look at them when they first came out. They were fantastic. They really were brilliant.
Which would be nice
I'd
to
love-
see a remaster or a remake of the early ones with this how successful 4 was.
Yeah.
I don't think they will, unfortunately. I think they'll just keep pushing in their new direction.
Yeah.
Never know. We might have a return to Olympus.
Because the mythology and the story behind it is amazing. Like
Yeah.
I really like.
That's why I really want to get into it.
Yeah, I really like how they do that. They give you not a history lesson, but a mythology lesson while you're gutting them.
I mean, you could just play Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
You can go straight to Olympus if you want. It's just...
that's my fourth one or whatever we're on now.
I don't even.
That's
know
all
where we're
bad. That's my list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have
mine
any
are, what I have is really just like kind of honorable mentions that I've been thinking of as we go along. Like I wish I'd played the Half-Life games back when they first came out, and I still have to play Half-Life Alyx. I haven't installed on my PC.
Yeah.
I haven't played it. I have the VR headset sitting there. I haven't played Half-Life Alyx yet. Need to play that. The only reason it's laziness. Plugging it in, setting it up, and then all that. It's the only reason I haven't played that is laziness, and well, probably Destiny season launched, and we were getting stuck into Vault of Glass stuff. Whenever I eventually stop playing Destiny, I'm gonna have so much free time to play all these games. It's gonna be fantastic. Because I will not be playing Final Fantasy 14, Stephen.
That's what you think.
Like older games back in the day, like I wish I'd played the older Zelda games. Thanks for your t-shirt, Stephen. I wish I'd played the Metroid games back in the day, because then I'd may have had some nostalgia for the new one coming out. I might pick it up because it does look pretty cool, even though it's like a side scroller, not 2D, but you know what I mean. It's side scrolling.
I played my first side scroller yesterday.
What'd you play?
Cuphead.
Cuphead. Did you enjoy
You're playing Cuphead and you're giving out about Dark Souls.
Now, we couldn't get past the first level for like 10 minutes. I was playing it via Steam with Etsky, and it was so hard. There's so much coming at you at once. It's just like, how the fuck? But I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. The art style is really different because it's like the 50s or whatever. But it's class.
Really
it's
unique,
really good. Yeah.
You should give Ori. You should give Ori a shot. Ori's fantastic.
But that's the thing. I just disregard things when I see they are side scrollers because it's just
Ori's
it's not
brilliant.
Like I know Nintendo was there when I was growing up, but it wasn't something like I wasn't balls deep into Mario, like that franchise, for want of a better expression. But just in terms of like, yeah, obviously the array of side scrollers on Nintendo is so vast, so it wasn't something that I'd played a lot of. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. The only reason I stopped playing is because fucking the Steam link dropped halfway through, with connection issues. But yeah, it's really good. So sorry, just you said side scroller, and I was like, I'll play my first side scroller. But
yeah, I've got loads left, so I'll just rattle a few of them off.
Rattle them off there, yeah, and I'll agree with every single one of them.
The Red Dead series, never got into it.
I really enjoyed Red Dead Revolver back in the day.
Oh, the original.
The original. I ended up buying it off someone for like €1 before, but I didn't enjoy Red Dead Redemption personally, not for me. And again, with or2, I've just no interest in playing it, even though it's critically acclaimed. To steal your words, Stephen. Yeah, I love Revolver. Revolver was great. It's just
If you wanted to try it, Stephen, it's the PS Now game of July.
Oh yeah, I'll wait until they eventually give it for
PC.
cheap.
Isn't it incredible how like that game just holds its value on Steam? It never drops below like
Yeah.
45 quid.
Yeah,
Probably
true.
the size of it as well. Like it is the GTA in the Wild West, basically.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just it never drops. It holds it at 60 quid the whole time. Sekiro's another one that does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two then that I've played, kind of dabbled in, but never completed, and has always been I really wish I could have played them, but I just can't go back to them now. Are Knights of the Old Republic?
Yes,
Shockingly,
I agree.
because it
Wish
was
I
just
played
too
it.
big at the time when it came out. I just couldn't get into it. There was too much to do, but I really want to get into it.
It's a good
and the
thing they're
Dragon Age
remaking it,
series.
right?
I wish.
No, they are.
Yeah, we'll see.
No, that's fact.
No, I know they are, but
Yeah.
we'll see what it's like
When
it's
it comes.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry. And then the other thing is the Dragon Age series as well.
Oh, yeah.
I wish I got into it.
I've dipped in and out of every single one of them, and I just can't get into them. But I really wish I could because they look
Yeah.
deadly.
They are a bit niche, aren't they?
They are a little bit. Any of the new 3D Mario games, can't get into them. Wish
I
could play
tried.
them. Love Mario, just can't get
Odyssey.
into it.
What was it? Odyssey? Yeah, Kathy completed Odyssey, and when I was watching her play it, I was like, "There's so much." It's one of those. It's hard to watch, but probably easy to play. Like when you're looking at it, and it just seems so convoluted. Like I'm sure everything we play is to people who don't play it, but
Yeah, Louise
Yeah,
says
I
the same
just-
about like Destiny. She's like, "There's so much going on. How do
Yeah.
you do that?" It's like it's straightforward. It's easy. What are you on about?
it's a muscle memory thing, and when you're playing, it's more explained. But yeah, I'm the same with the Mario ones. Just I can't.
Another one that I played but haven't completed and wish I did, but definitely can't now is Max Payne. I played the first and the
yeah.
second, but I just could not go back and play them now with
Yeah.
his fucking flat face and beady eyes.
That's a
and-
good point, actually. Yeah, I never played Max Payne 1 or 2 because they were, well, ahead of me. I was
They were
only
older.
a whippersnapper. But I love Max Payne 3. That game was fantastic.
Yeah, I never played Max Payne 3.
Excellent.
Just couldn't get
Was
into
that
it.
PS3? Was it a PS? Yeah, Max Payne. yeah,
PS3.
PS3.
I want to say 3 because
Yeah,
I
no.
remember my stepdad used to play them,
Yeah.
and I used to watch him play them. But
Max Payne 3 was brilliant.
was
Well,
three.
I remember it being brilliant. I'll probably check up the reviews of it and see it got like a 2 out of 10. But I really enjoyed it, so whatever.
they're banned now, aren't they?
I don't think so.
No,
Are they?
you're thinking of Manhunt.
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 I
that's
also
what
wish I'd played Manhunt.
Oh, I played it.
I own
Yeah.
it, so I own it on GOG.
Yeah,
Yeah, it got a
We've
9
all-
out of
We've
10.
all played Philosopher's Stone. We've peaked in life.
Max Payne 3 got a 9 out of 10, so yeah. I was correct in my assumptions that was a good game.
And then the final three that I have on my list are the Star Ocean series. Never played them. Really want to because
Never
they're
heard of them.
JRPGs, so they're just
Oh,
like
yeah.
Final Fantasy.
Ah,
so
sorry,
why wouldn't I
off
like?
YouTube again.
We're
now on whatever
Witcher series.
Tencent have on their streaming.
Yeah, The Witcher for all my sins. I haven't
You don't
just-
like The Witcher. You didn't like The Witcher.
Yeah, but I really want to get into it. I really want to like it. I just can't. And then the other one is a niche one that I picked up years ago, but just couldn't get into it again because it's just so old. It was Eternal Darkness for the GameCube. Do either of you remember that?
No.
It's this really weird.
Everyone,
George
sorry,
Geiger.
Stephen. Everyone had one friend who owned the GameCube. It was like, do you have a PS3 or do you have a
You were that
PS3
friend.
or an Xbox 360? I've had a Nintendo GameCube.
Wait, were they
GameCube
released at
was
the same
awesome.
time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when you talk about GameCubes, to me, that's like early.
Well, no, that came out before. I
2002
think
or
that came
something.
out before. That was more a PS2 era, right? I think.
It was the end of the PS2
Because the
era.
Wii came out to rival the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah.
I think I played a GameCube once, and it was at my friend's house, and it was Pokemon fucking Stadium. Was that on the GameCube?
Oh yeah.
Was that not a bit earlier? Was that not the 64?
It was in
I
primary
think
school.
they had I think they had Pokemon Stadium on. It was like
Maybe.
Pokemon Stadium GX or something.
Yeah. Oh, maybe, yeah.
But Eternal Darkness was. I'm just looking up the Wikipedia on it now because it's such a mental
Stephen
game.
will explain this as the most perfectly narrated game, and we'll all want to play it. We'll go look at.
I already want to play
it.
Did you actually?
Sorry. Like ass.
Did you actually see somebody tweeted saying that their grandparents bought them a new Nintendo console, and it was just a pristine edition, a pristine fucking Nintendo GameCube? But they were like, I'm not mad about it. They didn't get me the Nintendo Switch, but they got me this like pristine,
immaculate
still sealed,
yeah,
pretty much sealed Nintendo GameCube. That is immaculate. It's like when grandparents get the present wrong, but it turns out to be awesome.
Trade that in for a mortgage.
You could probably pay the new Switch off it,
yeah.
If it has Super Mario 64.
Eternal Darkness was made by Silicon Knights. I think they're gone. They're the guys who did Bayonetta, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But this game was it's a psychological horror game, but it had this thing in it called the sanity meter. So anytime you encountered something that like was scary or made your character a bit like, oh, what the fuck, it impacted your sanity meter, and every time your sanity meter went down, more shit started happening. And it jumps through like centuries of different games. He plays like 12 different characters to uncover this weird story. I never got into it, but I really wanted to. But it was I remember being a really scary game.
Bad on it. Like, considering it's a 2002 game, the graphics.
What's it called again?
Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness.
Like, considering it was a 2002 title, they don't look terrible.
No, and it reviewed really well. Like, it reviewed like
holy shit. Now,
like
there is a night and day difference with a few of the screen grabs.
Now, it was. I think did they do a re-release or something later on?
Oh, potentially, actually, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I can't remember, but like it doesn't look terrible. But you can see in the screens like he plays a Centurion Knight, he plays someone in the early 30s,
an old lady with a knife.
Yeah, and like it's supposed to be really, really good, and I've always wanted to get into it. But
is it on GOG by any chance?
I don't think so. No.
It's a great game on GOG. I wouldn't hold them.
These bosses are very Dark Soulsy.
Yeah.
Because they don't make fucking sense.
You start to see the team here with Steven too.
Yeah. Steven's seen some shit.
Yeah.
Steven has seen some. Actually, do you know what? I don't know if I said this before. Do you know what game came into my head recently? And I don't know if you guys played it. Do you remember Folklore for the PS3? It was a launch title for the PS3. Folklore. It was like a Pokemon game, but it was set in Ireland. And I never copped it. I got it with my PS3 original, and I never fucking copped it.
Oh, you know what? I do remember this game.
Yeah.
I've never played it, but I remember the case of it.
Doesn't ring a bell.
I just know that I know the case.
Yeah.
It
wasn't developed by an Irish studio. It was
no.
It was SIE. It's Sony. It was a Sony game.
Yeah.
Do you know what? PS3 launch graphics were so terrible. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Games did not.
This just looks like every Final Fantasy game to me.
Yeah, fair.
You can't say that before you play Final Fantasy 14.
I haven't played it.
This isn't what it looks like.
Man, the PS3 launch titles were so poor when you actually look back.
What did he have? I think Folklore was the launch title.
Motorstorm, Genji, Resistance, Fall of Man, no, it wasn't even a Ridge Racer. It was some shit racing game. There wasn't a lot. Like not God of War. The Godfather came out like a month later, which was really good, by the way. And then Oblivion released not too long later, which kind of saved the launch. I love how I'm trying to think this off the top of my head when they're literally sitting behind me.
There's a Kickstarter for a co-op adventure board game of mystery, fear, and dark fantasy called Folklore: The Affliction. I'm assuming it's based off the game.
Potentially, yeah. Potentially.
Quite possibly.
Yeah. Do you have any more, Stephen, before we wrap up?
No, that's me. I took up enough time now.
I'm sure I
No,
can
you're
think
grand.
of some random stuff but
Yeah, there probably is. Like, it's even when you guys were naming things, I'm like, oh yeah, that franchise. Oh yeah, this.
Yeah,
Um,
it's always the way though.
there is a lot of AAA. Like, I'm a AAA shill when it comes to games, and there is a lot of big ones when I miss out on big franchises. I feel like I can't just jump in, like in the middle of it. But I think I'll change with next gen, or I keep saying next gen, with current gen now. Like, in terms of Dragon Age, for example, I've never played a Dragon Age game, but just solely because it's next generation, I'll be tempted to like jump in and give it a shot when it eventually comes out. Same way a lot of things. I think it's gonna break that stigma for me to jump in the middle of a series. But same with Witcher, like Witcher 3. Like, I've never played Witcher 1 or 2, so it shouldn't work, but it does work. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes. So that's it now. That's our list of games we wish we played, but never
That
did.
was the list.
I'm gonna like finish up, and then I'd be kind of like, shit, I forgot to say that game.
Yeah.
Morrowind. I wish I
absolutely.
played Morrowind back in the day.
Skyrim. I wish I played Skyrim. Never played Skyrim.
Really?
Still time, Logan. There's still time. No, I wish I
Um,
played Morrowind back in the day, back when it was didn't look like a piece of shit. Back when it was new. It was a bit before my time for that sort of game. But I wish I
know
played
what you need to
Morrowind.
play.
I do need to play it.
Man.
It's sitting there. It needs to be played.
Yeah. Lots of games that need to be
More
played.
like the likes of Doom. I wish I played the new Dooms. I think I own Doom 2016. I just can't hype myself up to play it.
My experience with
same.
Doom was that I was in New York last year or the year before. It was when I just got a Switch. I think I messaged Kev asking what games are good for the Switch, like AAA that perform, that were ported across, and I think you said Doom. I went out, I got Doom, I traded it in the next morning. I just didn't like it. But I could have given it more time. But
a lot of them games don't port well to Switch, which is gonna bring us to our first news topic of the evening.
Yeah.
Why would you need a Switch OLED when you can just get one of these bad boys? I'm gonna scroll past that video real quickly. So Steam announced their handheld system called the Steam Deck. I will launch it into you guys in Discord now, so you know what I'm going through. But yeah, Steam announced their Steam Deck. It comes in 3 different sizes, 3 different price ranges, mainly focused around loading games and storing games. There's different size cards on it. Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, the resolution's a bit meh.
Yeah, that's the one thing that threw me off. It's still better than a Switch.
We'll get the Steam Deck OLED next year.
Right. Well, apparently it's not just a Steam designated system. It's an actual handheld PC, basically. So
the fact that they're not locked in software-wise with just Steam OS is massive.
Yeah, huge. So I'm interested. I'm going to be keeping my eye on this, and I will see how it goes. Do I need it? Probably not. Will I end up getting one? Probably. But it is a bit of a game changer, and it's a bit of a kick in the teeth for Nintendo after what they just announced quite recently.
Yeah.
To a lot of backlash.
Disappointment.
Yeah. So yeah, it comes in 3 sizes. Yeah, sure.
No, I was just saying, it's like Stephen said earlier on, like it couldn't have come at a most perfect time because of the piggyback on Nintendo's disappointment.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it comes in 3 sizes, so it's $399 for 64 gigs, which is not a lot. That's going to be a stream machine. Then you've got your 256 gigs for $529 and a 512 gig for $649. So
that's a massive jump in prices. Like normally it'd say $399, then $450.
Yeah, it is. However, the latter two have an NVMe SSD in them.
Yeah.
which is why they perform slightly better and load quicker, and yeah, that's why.
But just like in terms of a pricing model, it's a
Now
very
you can expand it further. You can actually use a micro SD card to expand it, but I'd still be, if I was getting one, I'd be going for this one, probably right in the middle.
Do they do terabyte micro SD cards?
No, they probably will soon.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
We will touch on this quickly. Final Fantasy 14 is sold out. We already spoke about it, so I won't get into it.
How's it sold out? I just downloaded it literally in the middle of this podcast.
It's Endwalker, I think it is. The complete
What am I
edition.
missing?
It's still pretty wild. Well, we already spoke about it, so we will move on. Sticking with Final Fantasy, though. 16 may skip the game show in Tokyo Game Show in 2021, but the story is almost finished and the English voiceovers are almost finished being recorded. So it may not be too far away. Probably a 2022 release.
Definitely 22 minutes.
Now 16, has that got any correlation to the other games?
No. Whole new story.
Okay. Final Fantasy, why does no one want to get into this?
Yeah. All the stories in basically all the stories in Final Fantasy are separate. If it's like Final Fantasy 1, 2, every full numbered title is separate.
Yeah.
It's a separate story.
Is this the Chaos one?
No, that's Origin, which is down here. No, it wasn't actually. That's 16. Yeah, that's Origin. This is totally different. This is the full
Next mainline entry.
The next main entrance into the game, into the series.
So this isn't even like 15 is where they stopped. Sorry, I know Final Fantasy to me is just very convoluted in understanding. So 15 is the current game out now.
Current mainline one.
Yes.
So this would be
it's
a completely
the last
new.
mainline. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no 17. There's no 18.
No.
No.
Not
Cool.
yet.
Cool.
This is the next. This is going to be the next one with a whole new story. That is.
So will this be released in the same breath as the 7 remake in terms of like visuals?
Yes.
Okay.
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, this game looks beautiful. I'm not going to play all this because there could be shit in it, but no, definitely go watch the trailer for it. It's strong.
Okay.
It looks good.
And like, is it the same?
15 looks good. In fairness,
I don't think I've
It's
seen
all right,
that.
yeah.
But just is it the same style as in like the way Stephen was saying earlier on that the early ones were, what were they called? Turn-based, not turn-based. Fucking
no. This is action adventure. To put
same as 7.
Quite simply, quite similar. Yes, with similar to 7, but more open world probably.
Okay, so this if you were into the remake, this would be something that should be on your radar next in the franchise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, just trying to get my head around the Final Fantasy. To me,
I think it'll be somewhere between 15 and 7.
Okay.
That's
Did you guys play 15?
Yes, I haven't finished it, but I've played it.
Is it as good as 7?
No. The combat's a bit iffy. In terms of everything else, is great. The combat's a bit iffy.
So it's mad how like they do a remake of something that was
15's
halfway
combat,
through and made it better than the current.
15's combat was a demo for 7's combat.
Okay.
It's
a prototype. They're trying to get this turn-based action because the turn-based won't really work anymore. It's too passive.
Yeah.
So they're trying to come up with their new way. 15 was their first step towards that, and 7 remake is the perfected version of it.
So I
16 should
16,
be the same. Yeah,
I had imagined 16 would be quite similar to 7. In terms
I'd be interested in giving that a look then if I finish 7 and actually enjoy.
I'm really looking forward to it. Moving on, something close to Stephen's heart. Nier Automata is getting its long-awaited Steam patch.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, it's only like fucking 5 years too late.
Yeah, literally. But hopefully this fixes a lot of shit that the Steam version has. I might actually play it then. This is actually this should have been in my list earlier, by the way. I wish I'd played this. I have followed this for quite a while. I've watched quite a bit and I'm quite interested in playing it. I don't know why I haven't. I don't really have an excuse, so I won't make one up. But I will play this when this patch comes out, which is like 2 days away. Moving on, Netflix are dipping their toes into
this. I was interested in this, yeah.
Yeah. This is what Xbox and Microsoft have been positioning themselves for. This sort of Netflix, Amazon, Google, all those people coming into gaming, and Netflix and Microsoft are going, well, we're gonna get a head start on all of you fuckers. So this would be interesting to follow.
Do you not think with Netflix and the partnerships that they make, do you not think it would be coinciding with Game Pass? Like the fact that they could possibly offer you Game Pass via Netflix?
That would be cool.
Imagine.
Microsoft acquires Netflix.
But that's the thing. Not everything is a Netflix original, even though it says Netflix original. That just means they acquired it, like they bought the rights to it. So, like the amount of I have it in my head. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. The amount of established franchises and stuff like that have Netflix original on it, and we know it didn't come from Netflix. It was just they acquired the rights. So if it was one of those things where it was in partnership with Netflix, you know.
Potentially.
But isn't the Halo TV series meant to be Netflix?
True. It will be interesting to follow this because Amazon and Google have not had good entrances into video games. So it'll be interesting to see if Netflix can get it right.
Yeah. Like it does this specify about development, or is it more so the service?
It just says they hired Verdu to be vice president of a game development department.
Okay. So it possibly is like the Amazon route.
Yeah. So it hasn't made it clear how they're gonna distribute games on the platform yet.
Yeah.
So be interesting to watch it, definitely. I'm fed up looking at Edward Cullen, so I'm gonna move on.
Yep.
Red Dead Redemption 2 has an NVIDIA DLSS update out now. It's not as impressive as some of the DLSS stuff we've seen, just on the surface here. But look, DLSS is magic, plain and simple. So anything that gets you extra frames to stabilize shit, not gonna complain about it.
I love how everything in the graph is already like high end, and it's just like here's a little push.
Yeah,
everything's
like,
in the graph.
If you're on, I'll zoom in a bit here. If you're on like a 3080, if you're playing that, I'm assuming this is at 4K. You'll now be getting 75 FPS instead of sub 60. So that's great.
Yeah, like look, it's running a Ryzen 9 5900X 32 gigs RAM. Like that's a powerful machine, and it's still not hitting 60.
Yeah,
that game is very badly optimized.
Yeah, it is. But let's be honest, like most people don't play games at 4K with all the fucking shit turned on. They just don't.
They do it for a screenshot and then turn it back to normal.
Exactly. We all do it.
Yeah.
We all do it. Last bit of the week. I haven't actually gone through this in detail yet. Is the TWAB came out just before we started. They talk about reputation stuff changing for Crucible, Vanguard, and Gambit. I haven't read through it yet, so I won't pretend to talk about it like I know what's going on. But yeah, that's that. Okay. Go check it out if you're interested in it. It will be in the description below as always. I'm assuming the movie of the week that the solo Atheon kill didn't make it in time this week, and that'll be next week instead. Which was insane if you watched it. But yeah, it's all about reputations and how they're going to be changing. Is it season 15? I imagine it's in next season.
I assume it's next season. Yes,
yeah. I don't think they'll wait until in season 15. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not going to read through that because we could literally be here all night. So I will just close that down, and you can go watch that if you want. Go read that if you want to read it.
So I get my TWAB from DCP every week.
Yeah, they actually they go through the whole thing, don't they?
Yeah, they go through the TWAB. Yeah,
fair enough.
And that's another thing. I just touching on Destiny. I want them to address it. I tweeted about it yesterday, but I said I wasn't gonna play. I got fed up with Destiny in terms of when Master was announced, and obviously playing Master VOG and not being leveled, even though I think I've played a substantial amount of the game. I don't like the XP grind at the end of when you reach max level or whatever. But I played 2 days, 2 mornings for about 3 hours each, I done the Solstice gear. Said I wasn't gonna play Solstice. I looked at it as passive enough. I just wanted to chill out. I was in the mood to play Destiny. I played that for 2 full sessions, and I went up 1 level. And I was touching on different aspects of the game in terms of like your what are they called? World activities and world events and overrides, and I done my expunges during that as well. That's where I done like 10 in a row. 9 and 10. And then I was doing my Crucible for the play 3 games. I was doing X, Y, and Z, public events and lost sectors, blah blah blah. 2 full sessions of a couple of hours each. That's 6 or 7 hours over 2 days, and I went up 1 level. That's to me, like I was picking up bounties for some things, but I wasn't bounty hoarding or excessively trying to max everything. But for 7 hours game time and going up 1 level, that's
it's when you get to a certain level on season rank, you do have to really double down on making sure you have bounties all the time, making sure you're like ticking off some of those seasonal challenges. They give a lot of XP. For what it's worth, I'm not defending it. I'm not saying, oh no, it's fine because this is the way you have to do it. I do think somewhere, probably not next season, it'll probably be Witch Queen, where I do think they will actually look at flattening that curve, to use a term we're all similar with for totally different reasons. I think, like, to play devil's advocate for a minute, the way I kind of look at the Master Raid for now anyway, and this may be the wrong way to look at it, but the way just to play devil's advocate, to me the Master Raid is to raids what Grandmaster Nightfalls are to Nightfalls. They are for the people who are committed to playing it, who want that difficult, challenging, high-end activity. And maybe that's the wrong way of looking at it, but that's me trying to rationalize it. That they are there to give challenging activities to people who want something very challenging. But I don't think artificial XP grind is the way to make it challenging.
100%.
I saw, just to touch on it, I saw Chevy put out an idea of how he would have managed the hard mode VOG. I don't know if you have read it. I think it was in our Discord. It was that artifact level doesn't exist, basically. Yeah. That the seasonal cap was 1320. VOG Master, VOG Normal, Atheon would have been at 1320 on level. So it's manageable as you're getting up the level. And then the Master version would have been 1340. So on the first day, it would have been like Destiny 1 hard mode raids, where it's very difficult at the beginning. But it would have dropped +1 gear that you can only get from the raid that goes up as far as 1325. So by doing the Master VOG, you would have got an extra level each time up to 1325. Which would have made it slightly more manageable, and you just wiped out the artifact bollocks. I think artifacts, when they first came out, were great, because it was like, oh, this is something new, it's something different. But I don't like, and this is me who, by the way, plays a shit ton of Destiny.
And is leveled.
I'm 1342, I think I am now. I'm leveled to do Master Vault of Glass. I've finished Master Vault of Glass. But I don't like that it's an XP grind to be able to do it. A grind for gear or a grind to get your power level to a point to do
different.
It.
Yeah, that's
I understand all of that. Yeah. But having an extra XP, I don't think that's the way to make content high-end. I think we need high-end content. We absolutely need content for the people who put in hundreds of hours a week, who put in thousands of hours a year. We need content for those people, because otherwise they're going to go play World of Warcraft, or they're going to go play Final Fantasy, or they're going to go play Halo Infinite. Bungie need to have high-end. And they have it. They have it with Grandmasters. They have it with Trials, even though it's riddled with nonsense. And they have it now with Master Raids. But how to access them is what needs to be looked at. And I don't agree. And I agree with you on the artifact XP is not
Yeah.
the way to make it. It's locking it behind something. It should be accessible to everybody to an extent. But
Yeah,
it shouldn't be locked behind that. I agree. I do agree.
that that made it worse for me because I done the contest. We done day 1 raids. We done 2 day 1 raids now. At
And it
that
was
lower
challenging,
level,
and we got through it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like same with GM Nightfalls. I want to do them, but I don't want to have to grind arbitrary XP level just to be able to play it. Like give someone. I don't want to say let everyone access it, but people who have the skill and the knowledge and like I was weak in that raid, but I wasn't the one that died all the time. Like I can hold my own in those situations. I think obviously there is a lot of bullshit when you are lower level and you get one tapped by things.
You
but...
literally, like, not to shit on you or Dan, but you couldn't stay alive because you were
No.
just getting one tapped. There was nothing you could do about it because it
But-
was so punishing in terms of damage against you.
But you can work around that, and I think we did for a few encounters. But just that's a side point by itself. I feel like I played the game enough to be given a chance to be able to do these things. I am max level in terms of gear and stuff like that. So why can't I play the end game content? I know it's high end game content, but it's you're 10 to 15 levels ahead of me just in XP. Like that's to me that's an invisible number because your gear goes up to 1320. That to me should be the seasonal cap. I don't like the artifact at all. I like the benefits it gives you in terms of mods and stuff like that, but just in terms of I want to play Masters, I want to play GMs, but I don't want to have to grind for hours. And I played 8 hours. We'll say 8 hours. I played 3 or 4 hours each session, and I went up 1 level. Like that's not good for the time that I invested into that game. And this is from someone who has stayed home and played games for the last year. So for someone, and I know it's the argument that people need to put the work in to play this end game, and people who play passively or only have a certain amount of hours per week, this isn't the content for them, but it should be. Like if you play passively, you can reach 30 and 20. So all it takes is you getting together for a couple of hours to actually knock out that content. Which
it just needs to be more skill based than artificial grind. Like as you were saying, Kev, if it takes you all season to get to 1320, and then the last week is when you can realistically do the master, like that should be there for you at 1340 or whatever it is, and that the difficulty isn't, that you need to keep grinding an artifact, but it's just that you're not good enough. You're at a disadvantage anyway, but that disadvantage isn't artificially brought up because of some fucking artifact grind, and you're just not good enough at the game. Like if you and your other 5 team members aren't good enough, tough. And that's what the master and grandmaster should be. It's that it's no longer a case of like, did you put in 400 hours to get to season rank 300? It's like, no, you didn't, but also you're not good enough at the game, so therefore you don't deserve the rewards at the end of this. And I think that's a fine line to toe.
I think,
and like, go on.
I think so on your season pass, your artifact goes up to, is it plus 12 is when you unlock your last mod on the artifact. I think that's where artifact levels should stop.
Yeah,
I don't think,
because you've gotten everything out of it.
Yeah, I don't think the artifact should have me at, so I'm currently plus 22 on my artifact level. So I'm 1320 plus my 22. You're 1320 plus 12 or 13. Steven's 1320 plus whatever, 13 or 14. I don't like that. I think it should stop at a certain level, and that's what. So I think the way they've looked at VOG is they've released VOG at 1350. Next season we're gonna get to 1330 plus artifact. So if you're plus 11 on your artifact next season, suddenly Master VOG is accessible for that level.
Yeah,
and I think that's the way I think they've looked at it in a way of, we'll make it so the people who play the game, who are committed to play the game, get to do this now, because that's their reward for sticking with this game and putting the time in. And the people who don't stick with it for as long in the season, well, they have to wait till next season. But then they get to do it. And that's the part I don't like about it. Because I don't like that whole we're pushing it. So if you don't have the time to commit, like if I had have adopted the dog at the start of May, I wouldn't have had the time to put in that much. And I'll put my hands up and say I was very fucking frustrated during that raid day when we tried it, because I knew I was on level, but other people weren't, and it's not necessarily their fault that they weren't on level. You can't force someone. It's not like I can go to all your houses and fucking glue you to your chair and say you've got to play Destiny until you're leveled. And that puts pressure on you guys, because then you're thinking, oh shit, I've let the team down here. But it's not fair that you might feel that way, because to get to 1336 or 1341, you would have had to put in hundreds of hours that you may just not have wanted to put into Destiny right now. Because and I think it's great that there is challenging content and there's high-end content for the people who play it a lot and want to play it a lot, but I think it needs to be done in a way that's less, I don't want to say punishing, but less time demanding. Because like, that's at the end of the day, that's what it demanded. It either demanded you committed a shit ton of time, or you went in the Shattered Throne and did a macro to get false XP.
See, that's forcing you to play a certain way. And like for example, I
disagree with that,
I agree with the level. Like, it's for Beyond Life getting it, when we said we're going for day one, everyone has to be max level, everyone has to be at a certain point. That's fine. Same with Vault of Glass. We knew you had to be a certain level, and that's the key word there, is level. Like, your light level has to be, or your equipment level, whatever, has to be a certain.
Because contest
that's fine.
is on. Yeah.
That's attainable, and you know you have this number that you have to get through or get to. But in terms of what they announced it like a week before, that it was 1350 or whatever, if you weren't light leveled, or not leveled, sorry, artifact leveled within 3 or 4, that was unattainable in that period of time.
Yeah, it was.
So to me, I felt bad throughout that whole raid. I didn't want to be there. After the first encounter, I was like, this is absolute bullshit, because it's turned me off. Like, I love raiding. That's the one thing that I still really enjoy in Destiny. This has made me want to even not do a normal raid. This has just killed my desire to play the game. I've only played it on console because it's a passive thing. I'm sitting down relaxed. I'm just doing it, taking off things that I want to do. But I couldn't even open it up on my PC. It actually enrages me, because the last time I played it was Master Vogue. I can't get that out of my head.
I think a lot of people felt that way.
It was such a horrible experience, because I understand getting to that level, and we have done that in the past when it comes to Vogue and it comes to Deepstone Crypt, and I'm sure previous raids as well. We all knew, and it was, my argument is that it came out way too late into the season, that a lot of people have fallen off. It's because the grind is very monotonous in terms of you're doing your cyclical things, that if you're doing that at the start of a season when you're climbing light level, you don't mind it as much because you have an achievement to get to. And if it had come out just after the 4-week rotation of normal version, you probably would have held a lot of people's desire to still do those arbitrary things and maybe bridge that gap a little bit more. But I'd fallen off by the time Master Vogue came out. There was no way I was pumping in that amount of hours so late into a season, where I've done all the content, I've repeated all my overrides, I've done my expunges, the only thing I left on the seal was literally the expunge fucking champions. So I had played the game, I had played the seasonal content to a degree that qualified me to get the seal. Like, that's a lot of overrides and a lot of expunges and of fucking,
no, it's a shit ton.
What are they called? The Mitrax fucking whatever his reward thing is. That's a lot of hours into this season, and I still was 10 levels below what was required of me in Master Vogue, and that is bullshit.
And I think that's where they need to look at, if they're going to continue with the artifact, which I hope they don't after into Witch Queen. It needs to not be XP, and I think that's part of the 12 this week. So we haven't read it, so we're sorry if we're talking in the past.
I'm not sorry, because I needed to voice this shit.
No, but I mean, I'm sorry if I'm talking in the past about something they are addressing. Bounties and seasonal challenges should not be your main source of XP. Completing raids should be. Completing Nightfall should be. Winning and playing PvP shit. Actually doing activities and getting kills and getting all that shit should be your main source of XP in the game. If they are gonna stick with XP, it should not be, oh, I got 10 kills in a strike with a void subclass, I'm gonna turn in this bounty. Oh, I got 40 kinetic kills in over. No, reward for playing the game if you're gonna stick with XP. A better way completely to do the Master Vogue raid would have been permanent contest mode. So it wouldn't have been 1340. It probably would have been 1340 instead of 1350. But the game caps you at 1320. So you were always going to be at that level. To do at the maximum level we have. It wipes out all artifact. So every single team that did it was on a level playing field on day one of Master Raid. And every day after that. But it would have had everyone on a level playing field. Which meant that me, you, Steven, anyone who got to 1320 over the course of the season, of what was it? It was 8 weeks, I think, in. You had 8 weeks to get to maximum power level to play the Master Vogue on contest mode and tell us this weeks in advance that Master Vogue is going to come out towards the end of, or whatever it is, towards the beginning of July. The main one, for the normal version dropped, whatever it was, in June. You have until X date to get the 1320 power, because that's what you will need to be to do Master Vogue. And if you didn't get to that by then, well, that's on you.
Exactly.
And it wipes out this whole artifact. Or, you know, you cap artifact at plus 10 or plus 12. And then the same way they do it for trials. Like, they cap it for trials. Artifact doesn't count for trials. Like, there's no reason. I understand they want the artifact to be a thing. Like, they clearly want it to be a thing. Despite most of the community doesn't like it anymore. But if it's going to be a thing, they need to cap it for this so that it is not requesting a punishing amount of time, or, you know, you cheat to get the level somehow. That's what a lot of people did. A lot of people set up the macro to go into the Shadow Throne. They set up a macro that fires a, what's that, arc, bow and arrow, arc bow. Trinity Ghoul. That it fires one of them every couple of seconds, wipes out all the Shadow Trial, and they just leave that script running for 10 hours at a time and get a couple of levels up. It should not request that people have to do that.
It's an arbitrary number that hinders your ability to participate in an endgame scenario that you have the skill for. And that was the more annoying thing. I know I can do this raid. I know I can do this with these champions. I'm getting bullshitted out. Like, I know the day one we had the fucking auto fire in Hydra or whatever it was.
That was great crack.
But it's all the other bullshit that it's the whole thing of making something difficult by just making it everything hit you harder. It's like
because I could stay alive because I was that bit more level.
You could take those extra hits.
Like, I don't think 30, like, what was it, plus 15 or 16 on the artifact. I don't think that was an unreasonable ask, but it was an unreasonable ask in the amount of time they gave. If they told us at the start of when the normal version came out, you're gonna want to be 1336 to do this raid, people would have gone, okay, I've got time. But when they did tell us, it was, shit, I've got a week. I'm not gonna be able to do this.
Like, I wasn't churning out my weekly pinnacles and everything this season because I didn't think I had to.
No,
I'm not gonna regurgitate the same content because I don't
even
have
when they announced it, we kind of said, 1331 would be fine for 1350. Sure, we were 20 levels below on day one of Vogue, but it was the level plus the modifiers fucked it. And then it was just it was a case of, well, there's no point us doing this because we're just not able.
Like, I don't even want to do it this season at all.
I understand. I actually understand. I do understand that feeling. I do understand that feeling.
I don't mean to be a dampener on it, but it's just it's completely sucked the enjoyment out of it for me.
Like,
and I think if that's just my perspective, you can imagine the amount of other people who. I'm not saying I played a lot this season. I played enough to complete the seasonal content. I think I've played more than average compared to other people, but what reward do I have for that now? Nothing.
I think it's the first time they've done a hard mode raid in Destiny 2 since way back when. I think it landed very well in a lot of ways. in terms of it having exclusive loot. The challenge of it's great, even if you're high enough leveled, it's still difficult. And a lot of that landed very well. It was the route to get to it and to be able to do it will need to be looked at if they do this again. And they probably will do it again. That if they are doing master raid versions from now on, they need to make it... I don't like the word accessible because it's not the right word, but they need to make it that it's not a punishing grind.
More widespread.
Because if you ask me next season, there's a master raid coming out 6 weeks into the season, you're going to need to be plus 21 on your artifact. I could do it for 2 or 3 seasons, but eventually, like anything, we'll just burn out. It's like
because you're doing the same content.
Exactly. You're doing the same thing every season, yeah. Whereas I think when hard modes came out in Destiny 1, it didn't reset your level every season.
No,
it was for normal mode VOG, I need to be level 26. For hard mode VOG, I need to be level 28. I'm spitting numbers here, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
For normal mode Crota, I need to be level 32. For hard mode, I need to be level 34. But you didn't lose that XP. And that's the problem with the artifact as well, is that it resets every season. So you're pumping all this time in to get ready to do the raid. And then you get to do it, and it's great. And you may, like Steven said, only get to do it the last week of the season. But then you're back to square one the following week. Well, not square one, but you're like square 0.5. You're like 1.5 in that you can level up because power level increases. But all that artifact XP you've gained is just wiped clean. Because that's the thing. When the new season drops, we won't be able to do Vault of Glass challenge or master version for a couple of weeks because we'll be 13-20.
Yeah.
We literally will not be able to do it until we get to maximum power level plus 11 on the season pass.
And next season is the longest season as well, which is going to be...
That's where my problem comes in. We're literally not going to be able to do this raid. Like, nobody will be able to do it for the first couple of weeks.
But that's...
Because we're going to be 13-20, which is way... Like, 13-30 was too low. 13-35 was too low. So...
But this is the whole wrong way of having to play the game. Like, if you're being told you have to get 21 levels, that's 21 levels past the cap. It's like... That's ridiculous.
It's
like,
season
tell
pass,
me I need to earn my gear up until a certain level.
Yeah. It's
that's
season
fine.
pass 220 roughly.
Bullshit, man.
To be plus 21.
That's...
To be 13-36, I think it's season pass 130, 140, I think.
That's making it grindy.
Yeah.
That's
no, it is.
You have to play this way, and that's it. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that was my
50-minute session for today.
Cents.
Yeah, no, like I was fucking over the moon to finish it, even though it was very late. But I would have much rather it if it was with you guys. Like,
and that's what
I appreciate. I got an invite at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. There was a bit of a bad experience. Someone said they were going for dinner and never fucking came back. If I was looking at them face to face, they would have got a couple of slaps off me. But it was with Cole, and it was with some people I know of, not personally, but I would have been much happier finishing it with you and Chaotix and Dan, because it would have been something that we worked towards together and did together, and that would have been great.
Which is what we've done.
Yeah, which is what we've done.
Previous Deepstone Crypt and VOG. We have done the contest mode
and
on
it makes
both.
It,
we've done the day one on both.
Yeah. It became a checkbox exercise for me. It was I got it done. Yay, woo. I'm happy. I'm going to bed. Thanks, bye.
That's not the experience you should get from that.
No. Like, we're doing it Sunday. I hope we're doing it Sunday, because a few of the guys are more leveled up now, so we'd be able to do it. But, yeah, I'd still much rather do it with our team. But unfortunately, like, I can't say to you, Dill, you have to play this game because we need you for VOG, right? I can't go to Dan, you have to play this game because I want you to play it. That's unreasonable by me, and it's unreasonable by Bungie.
At the start of a season, that's fine, because you have that level, number to attain, and that's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, the content is enjoyable because you're getting gear drops that's like, oh, this is +1, this is +2. It's exciting, even though it's old gear and old content. You are still climbing. You are hitting that number at the top.
Yeah.
But you
I
need
think-
to do that and then spend another fucking 200 hours in the game.
Yeah, because I think it's reasonable at the beginning because you have that goal you're aiming for.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's just keep pissing into the wind and see how far it goes.
Yeah.
And how much splashback you get.
So I'll
Because it
see
would
is
be
about a month into the next season.
For me to say to you, oh, we're not playing Destiny with you for the next while because you're underleveled. Like, that's a dick move to say that. But
that's how it is. Like,
yeah, like
if you just want to do the content, just
Like
we've
if all
all-
of
like,
you,
we
if
have
all
all
five of
said-
you are levels, and I want to get in now, and I'm like, oh
You
hey,
can't.
will we do a VOG? You're like, we're not doing normal VOG, we're all master VOG now.
well,
like,
in
so-
in fairness, we're only doing one master one a week. And the rest
No,
of
but
them
you
will,
know,
and the
that-
rest of
but
them will be normal VOGs.
that's where it could have gone if you were in a hardcore group. Where like, oh, we're not doing.
Oh,
normal
100%.
VOGs.
100% it would have, yeah.
But like,
But, like,
what's
you-
the? I don't mean like I know I enjoy raiding. I do raids past when I'm at the point of earning things. But what is the point of doing normal now when master is there? When it's kind of like I know the same level gear drops in master, but it's kind of like it's a bit of a kick in the teeth
The
because you
point
want
of
to play
doing
the highest
master is to
content.
get the time loss weapon. But
Yeah,
if you,
no, I mean,
if
point of
you've
doing
got the
normal.
time, if you've got, yeah, I'm looping back to that.
Oh, okay.
If you've got the time loss weapon, like you spend your spoils to get more of that time loss weapon. But if you have it, you have it. Unless you want to get the perfectly rolled stuff. But what is good about those time loss weapons is that the rolls they drop with are close to, like the Fatebringer roll is the God roll. So you don't need to do only master raids.
And it has 2 extra slots, doesn't
It's
it?
2 extra slots, yeah.
Yeah.
So like the benefit of doing the master version is you're guaranteed high stat rolls. So like I think last week was recovery was the high stat roll. This week I don't know what it is. It could be intellect is the high stat roll. But if it's not something you need, you might as well just do the normal version. If you've got your master done, you might as well just do the normal version.
Yeah.
Because the gear is no different. Once you've finished it that week, the gear's no different.
Yeah.
Which is
But
also a
it's-
bit of
yeah.
a missed opportunity on the armor. It should have been different. Or there should have been an ornament.
Oh, 100%.
An ornament would have worked.
Yeah.
But hopefully that's down the line. I think they said that might be down the line, actually. It just wasn't ready in time. I'm not sure. But, like, yeah. I think
It is what it is,
I think
but,
it's a fantastic thing in a lot of ways, but it's also a missed opportunity in some ways. I wouldn't even say missed opportunity. I think that's the wrong term, but they missed the mark on some things with it. And the XP requirement is definitely something they missed the mark on, and I hope they learn from that.
It's just really frustrating being on the receiving end of that
Yeah, it
when
is.
you have
It was.
invested so much time into this game,
Yeah.
and the game is basically telling me you're not allowed to play this.
Yeah.
I have 5 people to play it with if I want to. Like Stephen was saying, if he turned around and says, I want to do it this week, it's kind of like, you don't want to say no, but at the same time, it's like, you know it's going to be a fucking shit show if you're below a certain level.
Yeah.
And Stephen
the way
done the
we're
day
telling
one.
people, yeah.
Skill is there. It's
Yeah.
just...
And that's the thing, for the likes of yourselves or Dan, for example, like 1336 is the minimum we'd be able to take you in. You would still struggle a bit because you'll still get 2-shot by stuff, but the rest of us would be able to stay alive long enough. But it's not even a case of, oh yeah, you're 30, yeah, we'll be able to get you through.
I don't want to be carried through things.
Yeah,
I
but
want
it's
to
just
play
it just
the
wouldn't
things.
it wouldn't be worth it from our point of view either, because suddenly you're adding 2 or 3 hours onto something.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, it's not like we turn on our PCs and time everywhere else just stands still while we play games. Time is a limited resource.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully they learn from this, and I can't wait to do it with you.
Yeah, next season. See you there.
Yeah,
After next season.
Because
I
those first 10 artifact levels are fine because you
Yeah.
get that through playing the game. So that's a fine part. But
Yeah.
it's an arbitrary thing. It should
artifact
people
level should be
a thing.
capped. It should be capped.
Anyway,
should
that's
be-
all I'm saying about it. I'm getting
No.
annoyed.
Yeah. Anyway,
Oh, you should do. You should download Final Fantasy 14 on your PS5 as well, just so you have both.
he's the chancer. I like
No,
this
'cause
light.
I'll play
I like
with you.
this light. It makes me look really tanned. Sitting here pale for the last 6 months.
I actually got a
look-
tan today.
I actually have a bit of a tan today. Like,
Guys, is okay. You win.
Oh, that's the farmer stand, yeah.
It happens quick. It happens quick. It's great.
Jesus, there's one. No.
Anyway,
Hey,
I think we got everyone. You got an extra topic.
Yeah,
Be
that should
happy.
be just clipped and uploaded separately.
An extra topic that I'll timestamp. But yeah, I think next week we're gonna do the games.
I have an
we missed
idea for
playing.
next week.
Oh, he has an idea.
now.
What did you say, Kev?
The games we miss playing.
We can do that, but I have an idea. For
there's
next week.
also the EA players next week as well.
Now let's hear his
I have an
idea.
idea for the week after. No, it's
Hold
not
on.
getting told here. It's getting told
Yeah.
in private.
That's what I was gonna say. Will I
Okay.
end this
Okay.
and then we will discuss it? And
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Some
Thank
shit
you.
now. Watch like
Shut the
top-
fuck up,
top
Stephen.
five
I have
weaves or
shit
something.
ideas, but I have one good one.
Top 5 flavors of Oreo.
They're
Anyway,
all original.
yes,
The
we
golden
will
one,
wrap it
obviously.
up there because this is very quickly becoming the longest podcast. That
shit.
was the games
What?
that we wish we had played but have not played, plus arguments about Destiny, which we actually kind of agreed on in a roundabout way. I didn't play Devil's Advocate for too long. Links to all that news will, as always, be down there. We will see you next week, I guess. Thank you.
Yeah, for a secret project.
See you next week.
Secret project.
you
Secret
later.
project. Bye.
Bye.
Yo, mama. It didn't come home. Haha.